They have retested a sample of Bobby Bonds or Barry Bonds' urine.
Right.
And now they say he tested positive. You know, these are urine samples they've been holding.
What? They keep the urine? I mean, I would think they do the test and then they throw out the urine.
Can I come clean about something?
This urine is from 2004.
Oh, my God. Wow.
I have a great revelation, and this is going to be one of those things where I shouldn't say this out loud, but I'm going to. I purchased urine.
You're kidding. When? When did you purchase it?
The day after I made that stupid promise to you. First of all, I just want to say, I will submit to random drug tests. Just let me know when they're going to be. And I had to throw it the fuck out. I put it behind a bunch of liquor bottles.
Where do you go to get it?
Oh, a kid sold it to me.
Are you serious? Because I would think you could know someone who would just piss in a jar for
What happened was there's a bunch of kids in the town I grew up. They're all fuck-ups, but they're trying to get on the fire department.
Right.
So to get
why did you ask me to give you a urine test? And I even protested. I said, Artie, I don't want to give you a urine test. Why did you? Like, you were nuts.
Yeah, it sucked.
You know you would fail.
Well, no, I'd still be okay with it. I'd still be clean, except for Subutex liquor.
For Subutex liquor and what else?
Maybe weed.
Mm-hmm.
But
you're doing great.
No. I was next to somebody who was smoking weed, but no, that could fail. And you know, I don't know. I'm fine. I'm not on heroin, but I paid $500.
Oh.
And I told the kid he's trying to get on the fire department, you know, and. He's like, yeah, this is brutal. I haven't smoked pot or done anything for 6 months. And
oh, so he's getting to get urine for himself. How gross is it?
It's gross. I made him.
What did they sell it to you in a jar?
Well, he came over to my place and I made him piss in the, you know, I didn't see dick in cup, but
right.
He put it in like a Poland Spring bottle, and then I transferred it with gloves to something else, and then I put tinfoil around it.
Because it's so gross to look at.
Yeah, and then I put it in the back of a bunch of whiskey bottles. And then I just threw it out like last week. I forgot
So what part of you insists to me? I said to you, Art, you don't have to do a urine test.
Because I was excited. I tried to make it sound like I'm normal.
Yeah, but
I yearn to be normal.
I know, but I told you you're never going to pass it.
No.
You couldn't pass a urine test ever.
Yes, I could.
No, you
couldn't.
Yes, I could.
When?
Just put Artie in rehab.
Yeah. I'm not in rehab. Why?
Because someone, I talked to someone about that, and they explained to me, Artie's got to want. You know, there are people go. You know, everyone acts like rehab's the cure.
I'm totally fine.
You could go into 95 rehabs and still not be better because you got to want it.
Guys, I've been clean off.
Steve-O. He fought it at first.
Steve's a hole.
Can I just talk about
Christ, the guy's bleeding and throwing shit at the and that they waited till that happened.
Can I just talk about how it's just so funny because I want to go pull the tape of how insulted and indignant Artie was.
This is what's great about
when I said I had to watch Artie pee in a cup. And he goes, are you insane? Do you think I'm fucking crazy enough to go, I'm going to buy urine. Where am I going to buy urine?
He goes right out and buys
And if you notice, no, I bought urine before you accused me of buying it. I did. But if you could go back to whatever those days are, I'm wearing a leather jacket and I have the urine in here in my breast pocket.
Are you serious?
Yeah, so if you look at the tape, it might be like...
You mean you were carrying the urine with you because you thought we were going to do the urine test?
He didn't know when the test was going to come.
You're officially the funniest person I've ever met.
I came in here.
But meanwhile, you weren't even clean when you said I'm going to take a urine test.
Yes, I was.
Then why would you buy urine?
No.
It was the next day.
I was worried that stuff would show up.
Oh.
Okay? Very worried.
Art.
Stuff that you take.
But I haven't done heroin since December 21st.
But we
I haven't.
No, but we were giving you a drug test for everything.
I know. That's where I made a mistake. I should have made it just heroin.
Just heroin. I don't know if they make that test.
They do. You could just check for opiates.
Ignore coke or anything like this. Just
yeah,
heroin.
you could see.
There's heroin in
you
there.
could see specific stuff.
All right. Well, anyway, that's a very interesting revelation.
But I was always wondering about if the urine stayed
good.
Because then the one guy said, you have a way to keep it warm because it can't be cold. And I was like, oh, fuck. So I would put it in a room with heat
next to the boiler.
Did you really?
Listen, Howard, I'm crazy.
Oh, my God.
I don't want, I want to keep my job here. It's very important to me.
But that wasn't a condition of keeping your job.
Yeah, it was just to go to rehab.
See, I had to say it, but that's how good of a person I am. I had to say it.
All right, let's go to Robin because that sounds crazy.
No, but the urine got real dark as the days went on.
Stay good.
And I was like, does this even look like fresh urine?
Right. Well,
there were flaws.
I am shocked to hear that they saved his urine, but there you go.
The samples are believed to contain traces of the previously undetectable designer steroid known as THG, or the Clear. It was called the Clear because it wasn't supposed to show up on tests. The New York Times reported last week that federal authorities had detected anabolic steroids in a urine sample linked to Bonds. However, it's unclear if that urine sample and the sample seized in the 2004 raid are the same.
Well, in interest to keep up with Artie on the show, I have a confession to make. In my jacket right now, I have a bottle of shit I carry with me.
What are you carrying that for?
I can't tell you exactly why.
Oh, and when Dr. Drew said the penis and cup thing, I had the urine on me.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Jeez.
I was going to take it out. If you guys made me do the test, I was going to take it out and put it on the table.
Oh, that's good.
I should have done that. But.
Wow.
Well, we didn't test you.
You're really an addict.
No, Howard, I'm a dedicated worker.
Sorry.
Oh.
Who else? I'd break my ass. I'd break my ass. Ever since I was a fucking
you're in a dark place,
longshoreman.
You're in a dark place.
Yeah, well, you're right.
Yeah, you are.
But no, I'm okay. I'm okay, I think. Because if I can stay away from the hard shit, my life won't become chaotic.
But, Artie, are you going to drink?
Yes.
No, I haven't had a drink.
That's not true.
How do you know?
Because I know.
Okay, well, let's go penis and cup right now.
I have to watch.
I haven't. You ask anybody at my gigs, I'm totally sober. I'm fine.
Then why don't you take a real urine test?
Because the Subutex, I was afraid I couldn't stay off the Subutex long enough. And, you know, every once in a while you might have a drink.
So you're saying there was no entertainment lawyer?
No.
Who called you and said you shouldn't take a urine test?
Yeah, he did call him.
See, for once, at least I didn't get fooled about that.
No, he did call me, the guy.
Sure.
4 in the morning. All right, come on, Robin, we got to get to
news. He told me the second book deal was up to 1.5.
Go ahead.
Have you had Subutex already this morning?
No.
You had a donut or something? Your lips are white again.
That means, no, he had Subutex.
No, I swear to God I did.
Come on, you got Subutex.
I swear to God I did.
Let me see. Let me look at you. No, his lips aren't that white.
Oh, okay. Maybe I just saw something in a shadow or something.
You know what it is? It's the lighting on Artie. No, he didn't have Subutex.
The lighting makes me look fantastic.
Yeah. Did you hear on the wrap-up show, like, Artie confessed yesterday, he admitted that he had purchased $500 urine.
Yeah.
And
I overpaid for it.
But everyone's saying that's a completely made-up story.
I think so. What? I think they're right.
And they went back and checked the tape to see that day if Artie really did have urine in his pocket, if there was any detectable bulge.
There was a bulge.
Yeah. Everyone's not... I guess your credibility is down.
I saw Gary wants me to be completely honest about everything from now on. Okay. Tell Gary's going to get brutal honesty from me.
Really? Okay.
What does that mean?
No, Gary, I heard Gary say... I mean, you know, I'm really pissed off at Gary.
Well,
he says a blanket statement. He believes that cunt reporter when she goes, oh, Artie said he'd just lie to you if I didn't jog with him. You think I give a fuck if your monkey ass knows if I jogged with the fucking reporter?
It doesn't matter that, Artie.
No. Gary makes blanket statements like, he lies about everything. He thinks he's so funny on that wrap-up show.
Everybody else
You're not funny.
Too,
You're not funny.
Congratulations. You're very funny.
Yeah, I know I am. That's why I'm here. God knows why you're here, you fucking asswipe.
Wow.
Don't you say I lie about everything to the fucking world, to the 4 people that listen to that fucking show. All right, Gary, I'm going to be brutal honest. You lie, everybody lies, because if everyone didn't lie, there'd be no friends in this world.
Everybody doesn't lie almost every time they speak.
Okay, right. Okay, well, brutal honesty with Gary.
You think I'm the only one here that thinks this, Artie?
No, Gary. You say it out loud like you're some know-it-all, on that fucking show.
Before you jump on me, first of all, just so you know, and I know you can give me your brutal honesty when I'm done, when I do that show, people come to me all day long to tell me things. So, in a way, the same way...
Well, tell me who they are. Be honest with me.
Every single person here, every person on the TV crew, every person in the office.
Who? Well, name names. Who's concerned about me lying?
If anybody wanted to be named, I guess they'd step up. But you know how that works around here, Artie. You know how that works.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. No more lying for me with Gary.
I'm not making stuff up about you to get on your case. This is what people come to me.
You think that wasn't a joke, me telling that cunt reporter that I'll just lie about jogging? Are you retarded? That's the fucking example you use yesterday. He lies about everything. Play the clip. He's such a dork. He's like, oh, he lies about everything. He told the reporter he wouldn't jag with us. He just like, I mean, she's a fucking dumb idiot, and so are you. And don't fucking make comments about my character based on me telling the reporter I'm not jogging.
Wow.
You always get the truth out of me. Always, eventually.
Eventually. Glad you threw that in.
Well, it is
just
possible.
Don't let a fucking... Okay, so from now on, it's the truth. If I'm asked a question about Gary, it's the truth.
Always the truth about Gary.
Always the truth about Gary.
Gary, you better tell that phone screener not to let any calls through if I really cared if you came to Afghanistan. Or on the private jet to the crafts. Guy got a lot of laughs in Afghanistan. Good to have him.
See, I thought that was
so the book's a lie then, right?
Of course it is.
The whole part of the book where you said you...
all the good parts.
So you really... I thought you were... I had heard you were annoyed that Gary went to Afghanistan.
I'm not going to say anything.
Wait a minute. You said you'd tell the truth.
You're going to tell the truth.
Well, I mean, either that or I'll say nothing, you know.
I see.
I don't want to start arguing with Gary.
And the stools are bothering you, too, right?
Well,
in his theater.
I don't care. I don't care about the stool.
You don't? That's the truth?
I don't care.
And the truth is that you really didn't want Gary going to Afghanistan with you.
I'm not saying anything.
You really were pissed about the private
No. I loved having you there. I love that. Those old jokes Levy gave you were great.
Be honest. Artie, be Mr. Fucking Honesty.
No.
Well,
you started it. Play the clip yesterday, Gary. You take it a little. Yeah, I'm sick of being a punching bag with you people with this liar bullshit. Dad, play the clip yesterday. I'm sick of taking that shit. You're not funny. You're not funny. Will isn't funny. John's not funny. That show is horrible.
And you're funny when you lie, which is almost every
I'm funny
day.
all the time, which is why I should be making more than you.
I don't know that you're not, but who knows if you should.
I know. I saw it.
Let's not base it on when everybody shows up at this place, because then you shouldn't be making anything.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
How many sick days is a person allowed at this corporation? I'm sure I have plenty left.
You're allowed as many as humanly possible.
All right.
If you're, in fact, sick, Mr. Honesty.
Right. Well, I told you, I've never been sick.
He was honest about that. I believe he was truthful. Well, I don't like to see you boys fight viciously like that.
Well, play the clip. You'll see why I should be annoyed.
What is
this clip, by the way?
Gary gets on that fucking high horse in that wrap-up show and just, like, he's the king over there. And he's like, everybody's like sitting around the fire waiting for Gary to tell war stories, and they're always horrible. and then they fucking, they start talking about me, and Will is sitting there going, like, why is Will on the air? What credibility does he have?
Will is a producer.
What credibility do you have? I mean,
I'm a performer. I'm in charge.
Scheme in this place. Aside from being a comedian.
You hired me, dickwad.
I didn't. Howard did.
Okay, well, fine. What does that tell you?
You're a funny guy, but what credibility do you have to be on the show?
I don't need any other credibility except that I'm funny. You were an intern.
I wasn't an intern, Artie.
Well, I don't know. I remember Boy Gary when I started listening.
I got paid to fucking be here, douchebag.
Oh, all right.
Well, it's gotten very ugly.
Wow.
We all knew this day was coming. Artie will eventually turn on everyone here.
Right.
Including you, Howard.
No.
Well, I'm telling you, Artie will fucking wheel around, and he'll give you this rap one day as well.
Well,
yeah.
Do you deny that?
Maybe I'll deserve it.
Do you deny that?
Well, I can't wait. I'm preparing it every day. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you don't know.
Maybe, hey, but listen, if Artie thinks I've wronged him, he has carte blanche to certainly let me know. Same with anyone on this show, as you have many times. That's what makes it interesting. But obviously, you guys have a beef.
We'll sit there going, we don't know what Artie's lying about now.
The funny thing, Artie, again, is this...
And then Gary goes, well, he lies about everything. Yeah, he lies about everything.
This is the way everyone here feels about you.
He lies about everything.
And if anybody had any balls, they don't come in and tell you.
Let's line them up. Line them up. Come on, Eagle fan.
Although I got to admit, Gary got me thinking maybe the urine story isn't true.
I know, if they keep talking without anybody there to rebut them... They'll make you believe. I mean, the only person there to rebut them is, Will.
Is that is it ridiculous to think that that's a funny line? It might be a funny joke for you to tell that you brought in urine and then it's fake? I mean, is it that ridiculous that you fucking lie about stuff?
Why would I lie about that?
Why do you take it so personal that people think you lie? At this point, why would people not think that you tell the truth?
You're calling me I'm a liar? I shouldn't take that personal.
You fucking lie about everything, Artie.
I do not.
Oh, my God, dude.
Well, give me some examples.
About everything.
Give me some examples. How about every time he says, I wasn't on heroin, I didn't take it. Every time, it's bullshit.
That's self-preservation type lying. That's like, anyone would lie about that. Have you ever lied to a boss?
Of course I've lied before.
Okay, so what the fuck are you talking about?
I'm saying it's a funny line. It's a funny line to say, I brought urine in, I paid a
That's a funny line?
Yeah, I think it's funny.
It's a good story.
It is. It's interesting.
I decided to tell it.
So fucking insulted
that's why I crowbarred it into the news at 10:45.
I don't know. It's still funny. And I don't think it's that ridiculous that people think you might make it up. Because your fucking track record isn't that great.
Right, my track record isn't that great.
And call me a douchebag intern or whatever. I'm not funny. I don't give a fuck.
I didn't call you an intern.
I don't give a shit.
I called you not funny.
It doesn't matter to me what you think of me, to be honest with you.
Well, it doesn't matter to me what you think of me, you dickwife.
You're a miserable fuck, so...
Okay, I'm a miserable fuck.
And I love you, Artie, and I do love you. Well, what? Is that...
You love me, but I'm a miserable fuck?
Dude, you're the one back there...
You're the miserable fuck.
Call me a fag or whatever. Hopefully you punch me.
I didn't call you a fag. When did I call you a fag?
You called me all kinds of names back there, so I'm going to...
No, I never said fag. That's in your own head.
And I wasn't... Wait, hold on. I'm not that worked up. I'm just saying, it wasn't malicious when I said that. Okay. I thought you were lying yesterday. I thought it might be funny.
It wasn't malicious when you called me a liar.
Dude, about that? Like, why am I on living...
Why would I fucking make up that I bought this?
What Will is saying is...
What is Will saying?
I'm getting it now. Now I understand what Will is saying.
Okay, thanks.
Will is saying, listen, even in your book, you write about all the times that you lied when it concerned drugs. This is another drug story.
Right, okay.
So the fact of the matter is the guys are saying...
What benefit would I get out of this? A couple of laughs?
Listen, what benefit would you get out of asking me to give you a drug test?
What benefit do I get out of
No one knows. With this drug thing,
do I get out of saying I bought piss?
I don't know.
I mean,
it's funny.
Right, you don't know.
It's a great story, so maybe it's just a great story that's part of the Artie persona.
Well, another winner.
Yeah.
Another radio award for a great
honestly,
story.
I won't bring your name up.
I bet I could beat Maria Melito for funniest minute with that one.
I thought it was great.
I think you could.
Matter of fact, I'm putting the made-up buying piss story against anything Maria Melito does this year.
All right. Well, thank you, Artie and Gary, having words with Will. And
just so we know, seriously, Artie, I know you could care less. You are literally dead to me in terms of the wrap-up show. And in general, too.
What are you going to talk about, then?
We'll talk to each other, and I'll deal with you here as best as I have to.
What are you going to talk about, booking people?
We don't have to mention you, because you know what? I, like most of the audience, is bored with it.
Okay. Right. Fine.
Don't fucking talk to me. Send your fucking minion Teddy or whatever the fuck. If you need something, don't fucking deal with me. Don't talk to me.
Okay.
Don't fucking call me again.
You got it. Who should I call when I lie about being sick?
Well, Gary.
I'm only 6 months ahead of the real thing.
Gary, let me ask you, why are you so worked up?
Really? Because, you know what? This is the real Artie. This is who Artie really is.
No, you want me to tell the truth.
But Artie's upset that...
I love that he picks this to be mad about.
Well, wait a second. Artie's allowed to be mad that you said he lied.
I'm allowed to be mad back.
All right.
He fucking took shots at me, so I'm allowed to be mad back. Listen.
Okay, so why are you... You're not dead to me, Gary.
Whatever relationship Artie and I had evaporated a long time ago anyway.
Why is that? Why is that?
We've been nice to each other.
Why is that, Gary?
Because I just don't trust you anymore.
Okay. I don't understand how I ruined Gary's trust.
We don't have any relationship, really.
Well, what do you want us to do, Gary? You want to go get a beer? We have very different lives.
We don't have anything in common.
We have different lives, Gary. I mean, of course. How are we going to hang out besides the show?
And you clearly don't really like me anymore. So
no, I didn't like what you said yesterday, and I got very pissed off about it.
I thought for a long time you don't like me.
Artie is saying he doesn't like what you said. No, I hated
what you said yesterday. I don't dislike you. Well, how is that my problem?
It's not.
Why? Why do you think that?
Artie, it's not your problem. I didn't say it's your problem. I got it under control. I know how to handle it.
Okay.
And, listen, when it comes to work, we'll work. I would never do anything to jeopardize anything that goes on the show. But for you and I not to talk to each other is not going to change our relationship all that much.
All right. Well, who do I call when I lie about being sick?
Call me. I'll accept your lies.
Okay, Gary.
Because that's work-related.
And it'll hurt you again. It'll betray you again. Gary crying on his way to work.
Well, well, you know.
Artie's lying again.
I think everybody spent too much time thinking about you.
Okay, good. Well, let's stop then. That would be fantastic. That's all I want.
It is so done, buddy.
Great. I can't wait to hear more about how you booked Richard Lewis in 1982 on the wrap-up show. This is some beauty.
You don't like the wrap-up show. I enjoy it very much.
Apparently he's listening.
I do. I love it.
Artie's so talented and so funny that
I didn't say that.
He's above the wrap-up show. That's too low for him. He's too
I go in all the time. I go in all the time.
Not really, not anymore. You haven't really been in months.
That's not my contract. I go right to do heroin as soon as I leave here now. I have a heroin appointment at 11:15. I can't do the wrap-up show.
Is that the truth or a lie?
That's a joke. You couldn't tell the fucking difference.
I know, because I'm beneath you.
No, because you're horribly unfunny. But I think you're a nice guy.
And beneath you.
No, you're boring and unfunny. You're not beneath me.
Was he boring and unfunny in Afghanistan?
Oh, my God.
Oh, no.
I'm glad Nick DiPaolo and David Tell had a few less minutes on stage.
Wow. Oh, you just hurt me.
Let's that joke, let's just be a little bit honest. Nobody's time was cut into because I was there. You could have gone for fucking days if you wanted to.
Yeah, I got news for you. I'm mad at you now, and you're hurt by that. But, listen, I'm trying to piss you off right now because I'm mad at you, all right?
But you're doing it.
Okay, well, that's my goal. That's my goal. Because I felt very hurt by what you're throwing all these casual statements out that if people are not listening all the time, they're just going to hear Artie lies about everything. Artie's a liar. That's not true. That is not a true statement. And it aggravated me. And that could hurt me in a lot of ways, personally, professionally. And you just throw it out casually, and it pissed me off. So I came in here, and I'm defending myself. By yelling at you.
Why would you bother talking to me? Why don't you just...
Because you're the one who fucking said it. What do you want me to do?
But you could have come in and talked to me.
Well, it's more fun to fuck with you on the air. What did you say yesterday about when I spilled 2 inches of high C?
I see.
That was really... I'll be brutally honest with you. That was you being like, fuck you, clean it up.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was. I forgot about it. I didn't know about it.
Because some fucking underling was standing there that'll take care of it. That's what you think of.
You're not an underling to me. You make more than me.
I'm the only one standing there. Who else was going to do it?
I don't know. You got to get to the wrap-up show. Start the story. You got to get to the wrap-up show by 11 to call me a liar by 11:02.
I took my tissues and threw them on the floor and told I told Gary to pick them up.
Yeah, I know. And that's what he bullshits do. He sits in here yelling at you into the air.
I was kidding him, though. I picked up my own thing. Right, Gary?
Yes, you did, Howard.
What about when you made him go get your cum rag at your house?
That was necessary.
He didn't make it.
Here's another one of your lies. He didn't make me. I volunteered to do it.
I'm sorry, that was a lie.
Any man would want to touch my cum rag.
He trusted me, and I said I would go. Right. He didn't make me do it.
No, any man who you'd ask to do that for is making you do it.
He didn't ask him.
I didn't ask him.
Yeah, I know. Gary went to go, I mean, is there anyone else in the world you'd ask to do that for?
But he didn't ask me.
I know. You were just being a good producer.
He said, I got to get rid of that thing, and I said, I'll go take care of it for you.
When you had lunch with Rob Burnett, did you ask him if he ever got Dave's jizz rags?
I know, I haven't had lunch with Rob yet.
I thought you had lunch with Rob. Hey, do you know about this? Gary, in an effort to
He's preparing for the future.
Oh, my God. What is now happening?
Why don't you go to a bread line?
Future that will never include Artie Lang.
I'll be dead. We all know that. I won't only be dead to Gary. I'll be actually dead.
Really
That's what Gary said. You have 6 months anyway. You might as well be dead to him now.
Right. That's nice for Gary to say that. The only difference in Gary insulting me and me insulting him is when I do it, it's funny. So people remember it. He tells me I have 6 months to live. That's fantastic, Gary. Thanks.
You practically write it in your book.
I know.
How many times in your book do you say, I can't believe I lived to be what I am now?
Well, listen, dude, I don't know. I question my mortality because of how I've lived. I agree with you.
I'm going to tell you something. As mad as you are, Gary, I can tell, I know you guys have differences here and there now. But Gary is so upset about you because he loves you so much. Now, you're never going to get that, but
maybe I'm upset because Gary... Look, a lot of people said shit in that room.
Yes.
And a lot of people make accusations. Of course, Will is right. I don't care about him.
Right.
But Gary, I do. Of course, it hurts more with Gary. Gary's the major reason I'm sitting here. He's a big part of my career. And he means a lot to me. His opinion means a lot to me. At some point, Gary, I think he got in his head that for some reason I don't like him or whatever, and he projects that on me, and it eats away at him, and I think Gary changed our relationship in his head. So every time Gary says something like that, like I'm a liar, I go, I heard that in the car yesterday, and I'm going, God, does Gary really fucking think I'm just a blanket liar about everything? That hurts.
I think he thinks anything drug-related is a lie.
Well, listen.
No, he was saying everything. That's what Artie is objecting to.
I mean, look, I'll admit to that. There's been times where I did heroin, and I said, no, I didn't do heroin. There's been times I was pulled over speeding by a cop, and I said, really? Was I doing 80? That's what happens. That's life. You lie about shit.
You're right in Gary's case, and Artie's right in his case. He's so angry at Gary because it matters to him. You don't get angry about people that don't matter to you.
Right, that's right.
It hurt me a lot to hear him say that. I don't care. Everyone else in that room is, first of all...
Is this the makeup phase? Because I like the arguing phase better.
I know. Well,
I'm not ready to let go of that.
You love that more than anything.
You brought it up. You brought up that Gary is hurt.
I mean, Artie lied about seeing a shrink for 6 months.
I know.
That was work-related.
How is it work-related? Were we going to fire you if you didn't go?
No, listen, there's people in my...
That was lazy-related because you didn't want us to break your balls, but we weren't going to fire you.
Well, I'll certainly admit to being lazy, but you guys... here's a bulletin, Gary. You guys aren't the only people in my life that are affected by that. I didn't, my mother was comforted in thinking I might have been doing that. So, like you do to your parents sometimes, you lie.
But now you admit that your lies are wider than just drug-related.
No, the shrink is drug-related. It all ties into, if you want to call it a disease. First of all, I don't think it's a disease. I think it's just a bunch of assholes who want to get high. But if you want to call it a disease, whatever, then that's part of it, the lying and all that. I mean, Dr. Drew will tell you that.
Dr. Drew did tell us that.
Right, of course. And it compounds and stuff. But I've never lied. Have I embellished stories to make them funnier? Yeah, but that's my job. I didn't lie about buying piss.
Is Artie still dead on the wrap-up show, Gary? I think that's a major discussion that you shouldn't give up.
I'm not going there anymore.
To the wrap-up show?
No, I'm going to the wrap-up show.
Oh, shit.
But listen, I'm at the point now where Artie is mad at almost everything I say in the wrap-up show.
No, Gary, that's a lie. How am I mad at everything you say in the wrap-up?
And Artie's,
I'm not mad at you. I think it's funny.
And Artie's quite honestly bored to tears by me.
Oh,
but listen, now I don't know what I can and can't say about.
I like when you discuss Artie. I think you should continue to do it.
I like when you discuss me. It fascinates me.
I don't know what I can and can't say about Artie anymore.
You can say everything.
Say whatever you want, Gary. How am I your boss? I'm not telling you what to do.
He's just telling you didn't like it.
Right.
The show's working.
You want me to not? Yeah, I'm reacting to it.
You're like the Rush Limbaugh of Artie. Like, in other words, you say stuff and it provokes. It's a provocative show. You've gotten a response. It means it's not boring.
Artie's your Democratic Party.
You know what's so crazy about Gary, too? He's in this cloud about my opinion with the Afghanistan shit. We were over there for a week.
Right.
He knows how much fun we had together. He knows it was good. He was there, and he still doubts it. You know what I mean? It's like
I doubt it because I wasn't there.
Right. I mean, of course.
Hold on. You didn't take a shot at whether we had fun or not. You took a shot about whether you wanted me there. Whether we had fun or not isn't the...
Garrett, listen, I came in here today knowing that you're so insanely sensitive about that, and I was pissed off at what you said, so clearly I'm trying to make you mad.
So you know what? Here's the really fucked up thing. This is what it all comes down to. I don't know whether to believe you right now. I swear to God. I don't know what I don't
know what the truth is. Did you really like having... I think he liked having you in Afghanistan.
I think Artie sees that he upset me so much that now he's reeling it in, and I don't know
Listen, man.
the truth of the lie is anymore.
No. I did upset you. Mission accomplished.
Did you mean it?
Yeah, listen, man.
Did you mean it, Artie?
If you can't tell whether or not if you can't tell whether or not I wanted you there by our experience there together, then that's fucked up. I mean,
but maybe you didn't want him there, and it turned out better than you thought.
Right, that's the whole point. I don't doubt that we had a good time there, but I'm still not sure that you wanted me there.
Okay. Well.
Did you want him there?
Yes.
I don't think that's honest.
Oh, boy.
I got to go with Gary on this one.
Come on, be the brutally honest guy.
You said you were going to be brutally honest. Be brutally honest. You did not want Gary in Afghanistan.
I'll tell you what. It's fucked up because we were just arguing and yelling, but I did want him to come.
I believe you're being truthful.
I don't know. He's being deceptive.
Do you want to take a lie detector test on that question alone?
I'll take it.
You will.
Sure.
You will take that.
Because I just want Editorial in here for any reason.
Right, me too. Do you want Artie to... nothing drug-related to say, just one question. Did you want Gary in Afghanistan?
Well, I would certainly take that lie detector test, but... You know, again, that fucking detector test isn't credible. It said Ralph is gay.
Ed is one of the top guys in the country. What are you talking about?
Any lie, not just Ed.
Right.
Ed
you're just saying the...
in general.
In general, the test. You don't buy it.
Yeah.
Do you want him to take the test, Gary?
No, I just wanted to tell the truth. I don't need a test. Artie, tell the truth now, and then I'll accept it.
Well, Artie says this is the new truthful Artie about you, so here it comes. I'm going to ask him one last time. Okay. Artie, in light of the fact that you are the new truthful Artie, and you're going to talk the truth, because Gary told the truth. He feels you lie about everything.
Everything,
Every fucking thing in your life is a lie.
See, this is good with that.
All right, so now...
If you said this was Thursday, you'd be lying.
Right. We don't even know if you know what day it is. So here's the thing, Artie.
It's the last day before we have a day off.
Did you want Gary in Afghanistan?
Yes.
You know what? He gave me this smile, too, before he said it.
No, I did.
You looked at Gary, and you looked at Gary, and you felt bad for him. You're looking at that TV screen.
No, that's not true.
Yeah.
That's not,
you feel bad for him.
He does have a Bob Cratchit look there.
I believe Artie did not want... I believe Artie is lying now and does not want...
Well, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think Artie had a different idea in mind when he was crafting the whole thing.
He's a mastermind. Artie's idea was to go to somehow score pure heroin in Afghanistan.
I was crafting Operation Merce.
And he had a whole scenario of who he was going to invite and certain people he needed for various aspects of being Artie. And then Gary said, I'd like to go. And Artie, had to change his plan.
I had someone else in mind who was a friend of mine. I didn't ask Gary the same reason I didn't ask a guy like Fitzsimmons or even Levy. They have kids, and I just try, I said... No to kids, but Gary was aggressive, and he brought it up. So I'll say that I did have a friend of mine to come.
Right.
But when Gary wanted to come, that took up the other seat. And look, Gary is a guy known from the show. Anybody who's a fan of the show would love to see Gary. So, well, there you go. So,
The friend wasn't going to perform, correct?
No, he wasn't.
That's important. In other words, I didn't take up a performer's spot.
Right. He wasn't performing.
No.
But let's face it, your friend would have been a lot more fun than Gary.
Quite frankly, my friend might have got lost in the poppy fields.
I don't know what Artie's friend was going to do there. Artie was sleeping most of the trip.
Yeah, well, that's not a lie. So
how about the Crafts?
In the beginning,
how about when the owner of the New England Patriots?
Right.
I want the truth now.
Okay, I'll give you the truth on all this stuff.
When the Crafts,
that's
the Kraft family, they hired you to do the birthday, and then all of a sudden, Gary somehow glommed on.
Well, I'll be dead honest with you here. I was actually thrilled he came because it was someone to make small talk with them.
Right.
I didn't know them that well.
Right. So you liked when Gary was
the
there.
guy was. That's something I would have asked him to do.
Can I tell you why I decided to go? They sort of asked.
What are you doing in here?
Well, because I think at this point I'm pretty sure Artie's not going to throw anything at me.
Yeah, go ahead.
With the Crafts, I knew them before they had asked Artie, and in fact, they had contacted me about Artie going.
Yeah.
So on a weird level, I felt a responsibility to make sure everything went right, not only for Artie's sake, but for their sake as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were Artie wasn't bringing anybody but his cousins. And I thought
Artie lies about everything, so he might not have shown up.
No, it wasn't that. I just knew that.
That's something I show up for.
I knew Artie I knew Artie didn't know them.
Right.
I knew that he was there to perform, but that it was going to be a private party.
That was very helpful.
I did it as much for the Crafts as I did it for Artie. And then, absolutely, a part of it I did for myself. I wanted to see what was going on up there.
It was an interesting, it was a private jet back and forth. It was fun, but I would have been in a bit of a disarray without Gary there because I don't like making small talk with people who I barely know.
Was there anybody you had to kick off the plane this time?
No, there was plenty of room.
No, that sounds
like you two are back to being buddies.
The worst thing I did on that trip was that
we've gone full circle here.
Is Artie alive again to Gary?
I don't know. He's got a heartbeat. The worst thing I did on that trip to Artie was Artie's uncle and I watched American Idol on the plane, and he looked at us like we were a couple of homos. Artie was like disgusted.
Yeah. Me and my Uncle Tommy at least didn't watch it. But Look, all right, this might have been the quickest argument makeup in the history of the show.
All right, well, there you go. You guys had a lot of bad words between you.
I just can't believe that. Obviously, look, that's a sensitive subject, the Gary, the Afghanistan thing. I can't believe that whatever got in his head with that doubt is so there that we were fucking over there. Like, I can't hide disdain for somebody for a week.
I forgot what...
Not in Afghanistan.
No, but I didn't think you had disdain. You're missing the point. I didn't think you had disdain.
If I resented you for any reason for coming and taking a friend's spot, believe me, it would have come out when I was on the 15 Valium in Kyrgyzstan airport.
It sort of did at one point.
It did?
Well, no, Artie got really mad at me at one point during the trip, and it got really ugly. That was very hurtful to me, too.
Well, when was that? Oh, on the Valium?
Or after the...
I was on
the 40 Valium?
After the night.
See, no, don't exactly... It was 15 Valium.
Oh, it was 15?
Oh, it was only 15?
No, it was 50 Valium, 8 Ambien, and 3 shots of wild turkey.
Oh, my God in heaven. What are we going to do?
By the way,
dude, I was
kill an elephant.
I was in Kyrgyzstan.
Oh, my God.
Right.
How do you handle that?
It's easy not to drink in Ibiza, wherever you guys go.
How many drugs can you take?
He has a tremendous constitution. Listen, the late John Belushi and Chris Farley had tremendous constitutions.
Wow.
Everyone always says that.
They were dead at 33.
That's right. You've outlived them all.
You're a better drug taker than they are.
He has more tolerance.
What did you used to say years ago when I used to listen to you? What you used to say, Keith Richards is the best
greatest white drug taker ever.
Well, the guy is.
I mean,
first of all,
he's still alive. I mean, he looks like Dracula.
Even the cigarette smoking. I mean, this guy smokes constantly.
On stage.
On stage. He can't even put down a cigarette. And when he's in the middle of a guitar solo, he's got one burning in there.
He's got the cigarette in the guitar.
Him and Ron Wood, both.
Yeah, and the guy's, thin and looks good, for a guy who's done that much.
So crazy he ran up a tree and almost killed him.
Right.
Anything I said on that shit, you can't believe. I mean, of course.
It was. Again, part of me was like, I wondered if it was truth serum.
What did he say?
Well, let me tell you what happened.
Yeah, I don't even remember.
But I never had this out, and as long as we're having it out, I want Artie to know, because I don't know I don't know what he remembers and what he doesn't. So the whole temper tantrum in the airport, I'm there also videoing everything.
Right.
And a couple of times I went to pull the camera out, and I go, you know what, man? This just, I wanted to, but he was in such a state that I felt if he saw the camera, he'd smash it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because he was frantic and
right.
wanted to be out of Russia.
Get out of there, yeah.
And you know what? We were all right behind him. Nobody's going to deny. We were all like, let's just get the fuck out of here.
You were handling it much more professionally.
Right.
I was ready to pay, what, $18,000 for a flight.
Howard, the worst part of it was we walked right by the plane we were supposed to be on.
Right.
Like, we were on the tarmac, and we go, oh, there's our plane. They go, yeah, you can't get on that one. We're like, when's the next plane? They're like, oh, I think 36 hours. We're like, fuck,
And this is after 20 hours of playing cards and killing time at Bagram in Afghanistan while we watched toilet paper get loaded.
But why couldn't you get on your flight?
Because it was already, the doors were shut.
But I don't understand. Were you late?
Yes. We barely made it. But
that wasn't our fault.
Oh.
It wasn't our fault for being late. We were so long at one airport, the connecting flight, we just...
So it's the airline's fault.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, no, it was the Army's fault.
A military flight. Right. You can't yell at them. Right. It's like, look, you're fucked.
All right, so now Artie's in the airport. Artie's very upset. He takes, he gets the pills, and he gets drunk, and he's throwing things. He's pissed. And like I said, we're all pissed, too. I'm not giving him any shit about that. So we end up going back to the base, and we go back to the...
But you didn't throw things and stuff.
No, but so now Artie's really...
I did.
Artie's really... He's fucked up beyond belief.
Right.
I mean, he's really, really out of it. He goes back to his room, and he sits down, and I come in with a camera, and I say, Artie, what do you want to say? And I know that he's fucked up, but this is so important to the story. I know that I would never in a million years use this piece of tape.
But why tape it
without showing... Because it's a moment that's getting lost.
Plus, it's one of those moments.
But isn't it great to just have that moment lost?
Yeah, but isn't that one of those moments that will become legendary?
No. I think, this is where I argue. I think a true friend does not tape that.
No,
but I would have never, ever,
but wait a second. It could be just the other way. Like, you throwing the thing at Teddy was terrible, but then it became legend.
I can't, no, but Howard, I can't watch that. I cringe looking at it.
I cringe looking at it, too.
Yeah, but okay.
But it could be the thing that makes you snap out of whatever it is you're in that you won't make the right decision
I think I could figure that it looked pretty...
Yeah, but at the same point...
Without the video.
When you work on this show...
And you guys were nice enough not to air that for 2 hours.
Yeah. Well, you told me to air it.
Yeah, right. Okay, clearly I'm fine. We called Artie.
I said, Artie, I'm not going to air it.
He's in a straitjacket, and he said, air it.
You called me and told me to air it.
Our decision was not to air it, Artie. Why did you overrule overrule it.
Yeah, right.
We didn't air it.
Yeah, right. That's the truth.
Well, why would you listen to anything I said?
Because I believe you. At least then I did.
Can I finish? I want to finish the story because it's important. It's important for me to get it out. So now Artie and I are in this little tiny dorm room together.
Okay.
And I start taping it. Artie goes, shut that fucking thing off. He goes, I know exactly what you're up to. I know how you are. I know what the fuck you're thinking. And I'm like, okay, I get it. I got it. I got all that.
Well, wouldn't you think that if you're like on the ground throwing up and I've got a camera? Anything,
but you know what? I could always erase that. I could never go back and get it.
Why would you even tape
Because
it?
it's just the thought of...
Because you might have wanted it.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we move ahead.
I might have wanted it.
Let's move ahead. So I shut that camera off
immediately. In a different world.
He's very upset. He's very agitated.
You should never turn the camera off.
I shut the camera off.
That's my problem with it.
And then Artie, I thought, fell asleep. And I have to tell you, it was me and Dave Attell and Nick DiPaolo, Jim Florentine. It's like 5 in the morning now. It's light out. We all tell Artie we're going to bed. We're like in 5th grade. So that Artie thinks that we're all going to our rooms, and then we agree that we're going to meet out in 5 minutes to go get breakfast. But we don't want Artie to know. We don't want Artie to know we're out. So we're standing out in front of the barracks, and we're all having this conversation like, oh my God, Artie's so fucked up. We're just sort of like, decompressing and everything, and all of a sudden Attell goes, oh shit, there he is.
He's out.
So Artie was out. It was like, fuck. And that's when
like
Artie,
he got out.
in front of everybody, and I don't know what Artie remembers and what he doesn't, but in front of this group of guys, Artie came right at me. Physically, and he's like, you motherfucker, I know you, more of the same, you fucking cocksucker, you piece of shit, and just started calling me the worst names you can imagine.
Wow.
And then the next morning, the next afternoon,
I slept right up and half.
Artie got up, and when he saw me, he goes, yeah, by the way, last night I was a lot out of line. All right, let's go get some breakfast.
Yeah.
So that was,
I forgot. Like, I don't remember all that.
I was terrified, Howard. And I wasn't sure what Artie remembered and what he didn't. Well, so, like, there's a part of me that I've always thought, does Artie know what he said to me? And
I don't remember.
Was that just a simple apology, or does Artie not remember any of it? But I will tell you, Howard, did I talk to you about this in the summer, how hurtful it was to me?
Yeah.
I don't
remember details about what I said, but I mean, shit.
Yeah, Gary was on the phone with me I knew all about this, like Gary was on the phone with me for days about it.
It hurt. It just really...
Well, I mean, I don't know. You could have called me and said it,
But I didn't know. I couldn't even figure... I almost didn't want to call you, because if I did, I didn't want to remind you what you might not have remembered.
Well, but see, now you know something that I don't really know all of that's festering, which is why you might be aggravated too, or might think that way about me. I don't know about
Well, it's also, again, since it happened there, it's a part that makes me wonder, did Artie want me there?
No, I mean, in that state, I was mad someone was filming me, I mean...
No, I get it.
And that makes me question someone's friendship if they're filming me while I'm, practically throwing up in an army.
Whether he's a good producer, he stopped filming.
Well, there's that. Well, there's that too. To me, I'm like, okay, what's
the fuck is he over there if he ain't filming that great moment?
But it wasn't your video he was shooting, was it?
Well, it was for the TV
you
show.
start thinking if I'm going to jump off, a cliff, does he talk me off the cliff, or does he videotape me jumping?
He's a documentarian.
He can't help you with a cliff. Once you're going over that cliff, you're there.
That's making the news, not recording it.
I'll tell you one thing, though.
What do you want to jump off a cliff and not have a memory of it?
I'll tell you one thing that would be great for my kids to see.
Here's your dad.
You're not having kids.
I want to have an illegitimate kid. I decided.
Oh,
like the Jerry Lewis thing.
Yeah.
But I'll take care of it.
Angie Everhart announced yesterday she is having a child.
And doing a reality show. It could be Artie's child.
So listen.
If it was Artie's baby, it'd be fantastic.
Here's the funny thing about that whole thing. As fucked up as I was, the Army guy that was with us, the Vietnam guy, Jeff Anthony, this fucking, black guy who could do like 1 million push-ups and sit-ups.
Right. Strong guy.
And he just knows everything about the military, and he's just been there, done that. He was tolerant of a lot of our bullshit behavior, okay? Right. And he tolerated a lot of bullshit from me.
Right.
But the one thing I remember in that man is he had enough of me. Okay.
So back at the barracks, already wandering around.
Right, I'm wandering around.
High as a kite.
Clearly fucked up.
Which that was their biggest fear in getting Artie over there.
He really did tell them that he was fine.
Jeff turned to us, and he goes, "You fucking guys got to figure this out."
Yeah,
and I'm like, you saw what we're doing.
So I guess at one point he just got, it's like, the Marine in him.
Yeah, these guys aren't going to figure it out.
This asshole, junkie, hippie fucking comedian. So he went over to me, and this I do remember, and he grabbed me by the shoulder. Now, I only knew this guy to be a friendly guy the whole time. He grabbed me and he got me in like a mini headlock. and he looked at
you
me,
make friends wherever you go.
He looked at me and he said, listen, motherfucker, this is an army base, okay? You get the fuck inside and go to sleep.
And you listened, right?
And I went right inside. I marched inside.
You see, that's what you need. You need to join the Army.
He's not yelling at that guy.
Right.
I said, if this 58-year-old guy beats the shit out of me right now. I mean,
did he see the tirade against Gary?
Yeah.
No,
no,
he didn't.
Oh, he wasn't there?
He didn't. It was just, it was Dave and Jim Florentine and Nick and...
Meanwhile, me and Attell had just talked for years. Me and Attell have always talked about how we want to get off booze and all sorts of drugs and everything on the road. And Attell, I think, has still been sober for almost a year.
I think you cured him.
Which is fantastic. But
he doesn't want to drink again, he said.
He had been sober for four months at that time. But the only thing with Dave is he smokes, I'm going to say 5 packs of cigarettes a day.
I know.
He can't get rid of that. But
he also doesn't sleep much either.
No, he's a vampire, Attell.
Yeah.
He is, and he's always been. That's why he's such a great comedian. Like on Easter Sunday, on Christmas Day, Attell had 5 spots at the Comedy Cellar.
Wow.
That's why he's so great. I'm sure.
Howard, do you know
talent and doing it.
We landed from this fucking 87-hour trip in Afghanistan. We landed 5 o'clock on Saturday afternoon, and Dave gets his cell phone and I go, who you calling? He goes, I want to see if I can get a spot at the Comedy Store.
You know what? Here's a great day.
Wow.
Like that didn't work that night.
The day you landed.
We landed at 5. I think he went on at midnight.
Here's why he might be the greatest comic, I think, of my generation, like club comics, and why he deserves it is like in the beginning of the week, they call it calling in your avails, your availabilities to a club. Like on a Monday, you call up the manager of Stand Up New York or the comic strip or the Stellar, and you go, listen, I'm available Monday through Wednesday. And they go, all right, you got a 9 o'clock Wednesday, 9 to 9:20, and they give you your spots for the week, and that's, you go. So, we're still in Afghanistan. We're in Kandahar, and Jim Florentine has a special cell phone that we can only use some of the time. We had just been bombed. There was a bombing that made the papers. We're all calling up our family and going, I'm okay, we're okay. And then I hand the phone to Attell, and in the back I hear Attell go, the name of the woman who runs the Comedy Cellar is Esty. He goes, Esty, listen, I'll be back Monday. I got Monday through Friday.
Oh, my God. That's what he's using this
a real professional.
Called in his avails.
I like that guy. Yeah. See, that's why I always admired him. All right, boys, it seems as if the fun part of this argument is over. Now it's the makeup part, and I can skip all that.
They can do that off the air.
Yeah, go make love to each other off the air. Whatever. All right. That was a good argument, though.
Artie was dead for a little while.
That was great when Artie was dead. Artie didn't like that. He didn't like being dead. They made up.
He came back.
A couple of knockout punches from both sides.
Did you see a white light, Artie, before you came back?
You know what that was like? That was Hagler Hearns. It was only 3 rounds, but a lot of blood.
Went fast. Yeah. I'm sure everyone enjoyed that, though.
The Hagler Hearns fight, I have that on DVD. The end of the first round, Hagler's face is bleeding, and he looks at Tommy Hearns with a look of, like, such death.
Yeah.
And then he fucking knocked him out.
Yeah, Tommy Hearns. That was all going down when I was living in Detroit.
The Detroit Bomber.
Tommy Hearns mania. Yeah. That's good stuff. All right, thanks for that nice fight, you guys. Good job. You guys can go home now.
Thanks for starting off the morning.
You know what? I got mad.
Just killed a nice 45 minutes for me.
I got mad last night thinking about... As soon as I heard Gary say that, I got mad and it was festering. And I said, I'll sleep on it. And I woke up today okay. And then, something triggers you. And then,
I might even in the next hour play it again, get you all worked up so you guys can go at it.
If they triggered it, Artie saw me.
No, I don't know. I just...
It was good for you. Give you some time on the show.
Oh, good. Yeah, because I haven't had enough airtime.
You need some more airtime. All right, that was fun. I can't top that.
Sheesh.
Let's go home.
Hey, Robin.
Artie Lang, stop by our Unfunny show.
I can't ignore the 400-pound gorilla in the room, Tim Sabian. But anyway, I can't ignore the obvious thing, the big news from today's show, and I want to discuss it. Former Met Art Chomsky accused of gay sex by his wife.
He hardly played.
It's 69 Mets. Art Chomsky was the face of the Mets, man, for a while.
He was not the face of the Mets.
In the broadcast
Tom Seaver was the face of the Mets.
Okay, whatever. Fine. Whatever it is. Listen, I think it's big news that one of the, amazing Mets, the amazing 69 Mets, worships cock. Did his wife say he worships cock?
No, she didn't. You say that.
No, I don't know.
You know a woman will say anything in a divorce proceeding.
Yeah, that's a big one. I didn't hear any of James Caan's ex-wives saying he loves cock.
Well, they're afraid of dying.
Oh, what does that mean?
Artie, I'm surprised to see you here. After this morning, I didn't think you'd ever be back in our wonderful studio.
I was dead to Gary.
You're back.
Gary, by the way, I think we made up, but what a show business move to say I'm dead to you. That's like a producer, like, Artie's dead to me. That's like what Jerry Bruckheimer says to you.
I got to be honest with you.
His charity hockey games.
I got to be honest with you. I'm not so sure we made up. I mean, Howard said we made up, but we didn't we never really made up.
I came in here today to really
tell 1/10 of the audience that heard you this morning you're sorry.
Well, what do you mean?
We don't have the listenership that No.
I said this today. I think I made this point today when I said that I came in there today mad and I wanted to say mean things because I was mad, and I said some things I didn't mean.
But see, you have to seriously. How do I know you didn't meet him?
That's me, man.
That's the tough part. Like you said him.
It's like, you know what I'm like? I'm like David Niven in the Pink Panther. It's all a lie.
But it's so hard to tell.
You have to pick and choose. I lost my credibility with you and Will.
And others. And I give Will some credit, at least, for having the balls to come in, because he's not the only guy that...
I like
No,
Will.
but Will's not the only guy that grabs my ear and says shit. He's just the only guy that had the balls to come in and
Who the fuck says shit?
A lot of people. I'm being serious.
It's not that Fruity Jason, is it?
No, not Fruity Jason.
Who else? Not the black intern. Did he hear me say that thing?
No, not Black John.
I thought Black John was in he heard me say something. But anyway, I didn't say anything. The Knicks didn't cover, and I said something. But Black John, I love Black John. Any Jew interns? Are you a Jew intern? What's your name, sweetie? Jessica. Jew Jessica. Why don't you call her Jew Jessica if you're going to call John Black John?
You said the black intern.
No, you said Black John.
I was joking.
Do we have...
right. How do I believe you? How do I know when you're joking?
Are there lots of white Johns?
Especially since I'm not funny or a comedian.
Well, Garrett, listen, you're not a comedian.
Or funny.
I thought you were Jew John.
Do you think you're a funny person?
No. But I don't think. But you made it sound.
I think you're a good storyteller.
You made it. Well, apparently that's not even true.
No, I think. Yes, I do. You know that.
You just said, "Oh no." You want me to tell the story about Richard Lewis?
Well, that was me being. I'm arguing. I'm being an asshole.
But how do I know?
What do you do? How do I know when you're joking? Now we don't. We're in a web of lies, as Jason would say.
Look, you both break each other's balls.
John, it's a web of lies.
You both break each other's balls, but it seems like there's an underlying level of animosity between the two of you, and neither of you guys know where it's coming from.
No, John.
That's true.
And
it's true that there is, and it's true I don't know where it's coming from.
Well, I don't know either. Like, that's the thing. For months now, I have noticed a difference in our relationship because I think you believed certain things that people said that I didn't want you to come on these trips, and that's why I knew that was a sore spot and a weak spot, and that's why I sort of went at you there. I was very hurt by what you said on the wrap-up show, and let me tell you something. If we replay that clip, I think I'd be justified in it. If a coworker and a person who's supposed to be a friend says something like that about you, a blanket statement, he lies about everything.
But I didn't say, I said, how do we know if we could trust him? And the funny thing is,
Let's calm down with that. No, have I ever done anything to you like where I really, really betrayed a trust to you? Like really a bad fucking thing where like I fucked you over, man. Like, you know what? Artie fucked me over.
No, on a personal level,
no. Well, that's what it sounds like, though.
No, but
that's what it sounds like to people.
Maybe some of the animosity for me comes from, I'll be upfront, I'm not crazy about the way you've treated the show in, say, the last 8 or 9 months.
How have I done that?
Well, but by lying about what you're up to, about like not showing up all the time. I know you think.
No, but listen, that's your beef's with Howard, man. If Howard would pull me aside and say stop doing that,
you wouldn't. I don't think you would.
Okay, well, you know what? Then
would you? I mean, would you?
Of course I would. Howard laughs at the whole fucking thing. He laughs when I sleep. He loves when I fall asleep because it's fascinating.
All right.
So bring it up with him. If Howard Stern pulled me aside and said, "Art, listen, if you're late 5 more times in the next couple weeks, or if you're late, and I'm late twice every 4 months, okay, or I'm absent twice every 6 months, he knows that I'm in here most of the time, and it's not that big of a deal, but you get a lot of material out of it. If Howard sat me down and said, dude, if that happens again, I don't know if you can work here anymore, I would probably get my ass in here. And the fact is, if it happened again and he doesn't fire me, what kind of message did that send to me?
That's true.
Well, all right, so, I mean, your problem's with him, Gary, not me. It is.
I think that's funny.
It is. Tell Howard. We're all, look, all of us are serving one guy here. Let's face it.
That's true.
I mean, that's obvious. I mean, as much as I would care if I made you mad about something, ultimately my job's in jeopardy if Howard's mad about it, you know. And I think all of us know that, and we feed off of that. So we don't really care if we aggravate each other. Ultimately, I don't really give a fuck if you think I'm hurting the show, as long as Howard does.
No, I don't think you're hurting the show. I will never say that.
Okay, if you think I'm treating the show
disrespecting
badly,
it, but not hurting it. You're not hurting it.
Ultimately, if you think
you're helping it on some days, why are you disrespecting it? You're helping it, which is so fucking weird.
Well, that's what I mean. So it's a weird gray area we're in here. You know, if ultimately if you think I'm disrespecting the show, while it hurts me that you would think that, it doesn't affect my life at all, man.
Right.
But if Howard thinks that and he makes that clear to me, then it affects my life. And all of us are this. If you were doing something that pissed me off, Gar, ultimately you might care because we're friends, but it's not affecting your life at all. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Right, but you'd still be pissed off.
I would be. And, you know, a caller made an example. I didn't listen to the whole wrap-up show yesterday, but maybe Ralph called up and called me a liar again. A caller said Artie should be more mad at Ralph than he is at Will and Gary. And here's the point. I'm not, because, and this is difficult to put, and I don't want to insult Ralph in any way, but ultimately, I honestly don't give a fuck about what Ralph thinks. Just because, like, when this show ends, Ralph and I have the kind of relationship where I'm probably not going to be friends with Ralph after the show ends, because I might aggravate him, he might aggravate me. We could be great friends one day, and then I say something that annoys him, and he'll get on the air and say the most vicious shit. And I might say something vicious about him. So it's so up and down with Ralph. I just know we're not the same type of guy. I'd wish him nothing but luck, but ultimately I'm not the kind of friend on a permanent level with Ralph that I might be with you or Will. You know, if I did a show, if I went on to do a show somehow, I would hire you and Will in a heartbeat or be a partner with you on something. That's probably not going to happen with Ralph while I like him. So I don't really care if Ralph thinks I'm a liar on any level. Like, it doesn't bother me and it doesn't affect my work. You guys, it does. It affects me. That makes me mad because I think we're better friends than that.
Right, and it's funny, if you would have listened to the clip yesterday, I said, I know exactly what I said because I listened to it again. I said, people are saying that Artie's lying. Then I said, I believed you about the urine story. And then I said, with the jogging story, I don't know what to believe anymore. I don't know when he's telling the truth or not.
You said he lies about everything.
I don't know if I said that.
You said he lies about everything. Look at, like, the jogging story. And for a casual listener just to hear that, they don't know what the jogging story is. They don't know what context it's in. And people are like, okay, Artie just lies about everything now. That's awful. But it's not this jogging story.
The funny thing is, and maybe because you're saying it came out of me, it's not the first time it's come up on the wrap-up show.
All right, I know.
That discussion.
Yeah, but I don't know. That line hit me harder than others.
Well, I wasn't looking to, And
that's what's getting lost in all this. Like, people aren't saying that, oh, maybe I'm justified in being mad at that. I think I am.
Right, and maybe I'm justified that you didn't come and see me and tell me, hey, Gary, what you said yesterday really pissed me off.
Hey, Howard, Gary, okay, the same way you didn't come to me about saying, hey, when you spilled the high C, what did you say to me on the air? It's more fun to bust your balls on the air.
True.
Okay,
that's true.
I mean,
but I hardly put him on
a fucking crazy world here that we're living in. This is craziness. Everybody either wants to be great on the show or be your friend. Like, I
was too uncomfortable to come to you and say that to you off the air, to be honest.
Well,
which would be too uncomfortable a conversation.
Maybe I was too uncomfortable to come to you about it. And so we put it on the air.
You look pretty comfortable now.
Well, we're on the air again.
I know.
We're back making great radio.
And by the way, I said to you, the whole thing about I'm going to now show you how all roads lead to Ralph.
Right.
I said that on the air this morning, the whole rap about that Gary does everything that Artie does that annoys Artie started with Ralph.
I know.
And if it would have started with anybody but him, I probably would have brushed it off.
And again, I think Ralph makes for a lot of funny things on the air, and he can get under people's skin. But it annoyed me that, like, that's the thing that you're really sticking with based on something Ralph said. I mean, come on.
Because
I clearly that got in your head and you never let it go. But we didn't have it out till now.
But I'll tell you why. Because you obviously know that that's my Achilles heel. And when you're fucking around, when you're not trying to piss me off, when you're fucking around, you'll go there,
joking around,
and then you reel it back and you reel it back in. And so I never do.
If you were fighting with Achilles, where would you shoot the arrow?
Into his heel.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Art Shamsky, former Met.
Artie, I have a question for you about the lying thing, because I think
worshipping cock.
I think it's important. You've acknowledged lying about the drugs for obvious reasons. Who at work are you going to tell that you're using drugs?
This is like Hein Lang, Frostniks.
But do you understand how, and I think Will was trying to make this point, do you understand that if you lie about that, how that hurts your credibility about other shit? I know you say the drugs thing is one thing.
Right.
That's separate.
So name something you think I've lied about that has something that has nothing to do with drugs.
I got to think about that.
Of course, because there isn't much there. I mean, I have a lot of drug addict friends who, when they're talking about drugs, you can't believe anything they say. But, they're not going to... If I ask them if they're banging my wife, if they say, no, I believe them. It doesn't... I'm ashamed of the fact that I'm a drug addict. That's awful, but I've been very open about it for years now. It's part of my life. It's part of my persona, unfortunately, and... I'm afraid of losing work, and, I might lie about it. That's the truth. The same way, like I used today. If you're speeding, you might say you knew you were doing 85, but you say to the cop, God, no.
It's like if a married guy lies about cheating. Do you guys think he's a total liar then?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great example.
Well, what do you think of Bill Clinton?
I think a wife would have trouble trusting her husband again.
Right.
Yeah.
If she knew.
And all her friends.
Well, if he admits that he cheated.
No, but if your friend... No, I think what Benji's trying to say, is, if you have a best friend, a guy that's like a brother to you, and he comes to you and says, look, I'm cheating on my wife, this is bad, and then you hear him lie to his wife about it, do you think he's a liar on every level, or just because he's lying to his wife?
No, I mean... You would say probably, though, that guy, I mean, if he's lying to his wife, might be a little untrustworthy in some ways.
But if he's lying to his wife to save a life that he might have with his kids and everything, and I mean,
I get that.
I mean, there's guys here that have cheated on their wife.
Right.
Okay.
You know it.
Benji's pretty sure he knows.
No, okay. I mean, you just know it, that everyone here, if it ever comes up in the air, they're saying, I'm faithful.
What are you going with odds?
I'm going with odds.
Look, I've said I was faithful to Dana now for years.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But if someone lies, even if it's that, like Artie's example, you do think twice about them telling the truth in other scenarios. I mean, I was trying to think of other things because you asked that.
See, I can, look, I think you're thinking more morally and ethically about a guy doing that. Like, it might make me think less of his character, but it doesn't make me think he's lying to me about everything.
But Artie,
there's no question about that.
Here's a big issue, too. So, Artie, did you do drugs? No, that's a lie. Totally understand.
That's a blanket thing. Like, did I do drugs? I'm saying, if Howard said to me, are you on heroin right now?
Right, I understand.
I'm going to say no.
That I understand, but do you understand how it's...
And eventually, I always say yes for some reason.
It's not just that where some of the lies come in. It's not that black and white.
Right.
Because then it comes to other parts of your life, but I had to hide the drug thing, and it sort of permeates the parts of your life.
I understand.
And it's not so obvious.
Right, you could tie the drugs into... a lot of things that go on, like you said, the shrink. Well, you lied about the shrink because it was drug-related.
Yeah, it was keeping my job related. That's what it was about.
But we weren't going to fire you.
Well, it was basically... Look,
we were disappointed.
Look, how do I know that for sure? I don't know what you guys are thinking. I mean, there might be why wouldn't I think you're going to fire me? I mean,
Then why did you tell us that you stopped going if you thought we might fire you?
Because by then, obviously, Howard didn't care. And I said it because, look, I do share some things that are crazy on the air because I think they're provocative.
Right. Like even when you called me about the drug test, when you called me at home that night, you said, listen, I'm not going to take this drug test. Entertainment lawyer told me to take it. If I take it, I'm going to lose a month's worth of pay if I go to rehab. But no one ever had that discussion with you that you would lose pay to go to rehab. In fact, most of the discussion here was go do what you need to do.
Look, I made a dumb fucking deal. And in the deal, I said to Howard, without pay, and he said yes. That's where that came from. So it was all parameters I laid out. Don't get me wrong. When I called you, I was trying to get out of it.
Right.
I didn't say you guys did it. I laid it out.
But I mean, how many times?
And I realized how stupid it was.
How many times has Howard said, Artie, go, if you want to go. And did he ever say, and by the way, if you go, I'm suspending your pay for, off the air.
I brought it up. But
I mean, up to that point.
No, he never said that. Of course not. But I brought it up. So that was in the rule book that I laid out, and I was trying to get that out of the rule book. That's why I brought that up. But, I don't know. I mean, listen, maybe I don't want to go away for a month, too, because, maybe some guy will sit in the chair that you guys love. Jackie lost his job, I mean, maybe Jackie
quit.
Okay, but
And quite honestly, the 50 people that sat in the chair after him weren't as funny as you.
All right, well, listen.
Sorry, Jimmy Kimmel.
They might come back. A guy might come who you never heard of and be funny, and he could work for cheaper. This is America. I don't know, Or, how it starts. Artie could come in Monday and Tuesday. We'll have this guy Wednesday. I think about that all. I worry about losing my job like everybody else in the world. And not so much for this stuff, because Howard makes it funny, but losing my job to someone better? Yeah, of course I do.
Can I be the voice of asshole morality? If you were that worried about it, wouldn't you just take care of yourself to make sure you didn't have to leave?
Well, again, we're going back to why I just got into drugs. I don't know. I got addicted to drugs, man. I have no idea how that happened.
Do you think you have a disease? Because you talked about that this morning,
No,
too.
I've never. You
don't think it's a disease?
I don't. I hate that rap. I think, because there's been times in my life where I've been off of drugs for 4 years, and then I get the blues on the road, the wah thing, and I feel like getting high. I don't think that's a disease. I think that's a flaw in your character. I don't think it's a disease at all.
All right, since it's come up so much, we've got the clip from yesterday, so you guys can settle this once and for all. Hit it, Ted.
I just know what I hear in the office, so I'm sitting there thinking, like, Artie's out of his mind. This is crazy. I can't believe it. And then I hear somebody say, how do you know that you can believe what Artie just said? Which I hadn't thought of. Some people think that the story he told today might not be true.
Oh, that he didn't even have the urine? He was just
telling a great story. I'm believing he had the urine on him, but now the seed of doubt has been planted. That's how low his trust level is around here. I hadn't thought of that, but other people had.
Yeah, I said that to Gary because, it's funny. It sounds funny for him just to say, so who knows if it's the truth. And it's not to be insulting to Artie, but you can't take him at his word, obviously, at this point. So you can just speculate that anything he says is not true.
Yeah, but real kind of things that he's lied about, it's always been to protect his image. It's never been like just to pull a stunt.
No, he lies about everything. How did he protect his image when he told the Rolling Stone girl he was that he's going to tell us he went jogging? What do we give a shit if he
And it is funny when he says he's going to take it out and slam it around. And that's a funny line.
It could be. It wouldn't be. I don't think it's that big, but I don't think he was lying about that.
So you think he had it on?
I have faith in Artie that he was lying to us about it. About the urine.
That he was telling the truth about lying about the urine.
I don't know. That's pretty bad to me. That's fucked up. But listen, you could play back a number of things I've said about people. If you just looked at a transcript of the show, it's awful. That hurt my feelings big time.
I'm surprised. I didn't mean it. I'm surprised. I really am surprised compared to some of the things that have been said.
Look,
but I'm not saying
about everything.
If it bothers
you answered your own question. I don't give a fuck if you knew I jogged with to use that as an example is awful.
No,
that's the example outside of the drug use that you use. A total joke.
Because it wasn't obvious it was a joke, and it seemed like, of anything...
How is that not a joke,
It seemed like something to not lie about.
I think you have a better sense of humor than this. Okay, how is that not a joke? The cunt reporter knew it was a joke.
She didn't.
Yes, she did. She said it to you to create this shit, because she's a cunt. You're acting like a cunt.
No, she came here and I'm telling you.
She's a cunt.
But she didn't say it was...
She's a cunt.
That might be true, but she didn't say she knew it was a joke.
And she was acting like a cunt by coming in here and being a little cunt and saying... He said to me, he'll just lie if we don't jog. Cunt. And you're believing a cunt, which makes you a cunt.
Let's rape the cunt.
I didn't bring up rape.
Easy.
All right. We know how Artie feels about her. Let's
I didn't bring up rape. Jew boy.
I was kidding.
Benji was kidding as well. Now, Will, you clearly said in there that, you didn't mean anything offensive by what you were saying.
Yeah, I don't think it's no insult to Artie, but how could you take his word for anything?
Oh, God, dude, that's not what I said. I said it was a funny story.
That's exactly what you said.
And how could you be so insulted that people might think you're lying about stuff? That's the part that's so ridiculous.
Lying about certain things is fine, but you're not getting my point. Not to take my word on anything is what pisses me off. That's a blanket statement about me as a person, not as a drug addict or a guy with a drug problem, saying you can't take my word about anything and that I lie about everything.
No, I don't say you lie about everything.
Well, you just did.
And you know what? I didn't mean that. What I do mean is that everything is now in question in my head. That doesn't mean you lie about everything. It means everything's in question.
Then that's your problem, man.
It's a problem that's not that hard to have.
It shouldn't be in question. It shouldn't.
And I'm not the only one. I'll give Will credit.
You keep saying that. You're not the only one. Let's talk about you. I'm talking about you.
I'm not sure when you're telling the truth. That's me talking. That's it. I can't say it any other fucking way. I'm not positive when you're telling the truth anymore.
Tell me one time outside of drug stuff you think I've lied to you.
I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at it.
Because I've never done it, Gary.
I guess not.
Of course I haven't.
So when you lie for drug stuff, that's okay, and I should know the difference.
Yeah, Gab, because people lie about shit that they might get in trouble about. That's human nature. People lie about shit that they think might be an awkward thing to say to somebody, because that's human nature. If everybody told the truth, everyone would hate each other's guts. That's what this show creates. You know, it's good radio. But you can't think of one thing, and neither can John, because I've never lied about anything else, ever. And that's the problem.
So if you were on the other side of this, and you were me, and because I know you lie when it comes to drug stuff to protect yourself, I know that.
Okay.
I should know the difference. I should know that if it's not possible.
Have you ever lied to a boss?
Of course, but I'm just saying.
Have you ever lied to a boss about something drug related?
No, because I don't really do a lot of drugs. And if I did, I never worked at it.
You might have been coked up all night, and someone might have said you look bad, who you work for, and what'd you tell them? You overslept, or...
I've never been in that position. I swear to God.
Okay.
I just never got to that.
Okay. But you've lied to your boss. Maybe you went to an Islander game too late one night.
Okay, fine.
Which I don't know why you were there.
Another gay sport.
After 83. But, so that's it, Gary. So you lied once or twice or 3 times to your boss. How do I know when you're telling the truth? It's called using your discretion. It's why you have a fucking brain. It's using your reason. Okay, Artie's, he does heroin. You may lie about it, but he's not lying about this because he's never lied about something like that ever before.
I guess it's
you want to get on here and be interesting by just calling me a fucking liar. So I'm not taking it anymore.
Okay, you said how you feel, and I said it's tough to know.
All right, okay, good. It's tough to know then. I'm sorry you can't figure that out.
Listen, I'm entitled to an opinion, Artie.
Okay, then it's a dumb opinion. I'm entitled to think your opinion. I'm entitled to think it's a dumb opinion.
And you're totally entitled to think it's a dumb opinion. It's not.
Do you think that I think it's a dumb opinion is a dumb opinion?
It's not as cut and dried as you try to make it out to be, that everybody should know what the rules are about lying.
Not a person in this fucking room hasn't lied. But
that's not the point.
Yes, it is, yeah. We're talking about lying.
Who do you think? Okay, John, me, you, Will, Benji. Who's got the highest lying percentage in this room?
I don't know. No idea. I don't know you guys. I don't know what you tell your wife. I don't know what you tell. I have no idea. You guys don't say shit on the air that I say. I shouldn't say it. I fucking blurt it out. That's why you know I lied in the first place. Because eventually I tell the fucking truth. How do you know I'm not lying about... How do you know I didn't see the shrink for 4 months and the other thing isn't a lie? You don't know...
How do I know? That you just said it.
It's all entertainment, Gary.
But how do I know when you're entertaining me or not?
If you don't know that, then you are a monkey. What are you talking about? If I say something
So I should know that you might have lied about not going to the shrink?
No, Gary, you're picking and choosing what you think is a lie and what you don't think is a lie.
But do you understand where there might be confusion?
No. Yeah, but you gotta look. When we're on the air saying shit, dude, you gotta learn to separate that from me as a person. You just have to do that. That's what life is. I don't know how much you guys lie to people in your life. I have no idea. You could lie to your wife every fucking day, Gar. You could lie to your neighbor every day. You could lie to your PTA fucking people every. You could lie to the defense.
Well, I don't know what you do when you live here either.
Okay.
I don't know what you tell.
How can I answer that question?
I don't know what you tell your sister or your mother or anybody else.
How can I answer that question?
Well, how can anybody answer it?
All right. Well, you asked it. Ask answerable questions.
Whatever.
Cunt reporter!
Artie, didn't you just say, though, that, like, you have to separate...
not being funny ever on this show.
You have to separate what's on the air and what's in your private life or real life or whatever.
Right.
So that means that anything you say on the air could be bullshit, right? If it's for entertainment purposes.
It could be a joke.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's exactly the point yesterday. That we were saying it could be bullshit.
But you see, if it's that gray, why even bring up anything that's said on the air? I mean, why talk about anything I've said on the air?
Because that's what the show's supposed to be, talk.
If it could be a joke, then just say, oh, Artie was joking around. I don't know.
That's what we said.
No, you didn't. Well, we
That's
said not what you said.
It was a lie instead of a joke.
I
said it was a funny line.
You said you can't take my word on anything. And that's you being serious.
I don't know if it was that serious like that.
All right, well, I don't know.
But, I mean,
were you trying to be funny when you said that?
I'm obviously the most unfunny person and should be on the
Gary,
show.
I'm unfunny.
Do you think you're a funny guy, Will?
You don't know me. You don't know me. No, you don't.
Will, I've worked with you for 8 years.
That's a difficult question coming from you because you're way funnier than all of us. So when you say it, it's sort of a bullshit question. Will could be funny, but he's not. He's not Artie funny.
Artie, you've never hung out with me. You don't know whether I'm funny or not.
He's the 80th funny Eagle fan I've ever met.
Okay, well that's
fine. He's
not
even in the top 79.
Dude.
The guy who said he'd throw Ralph off the 700 section, that guy should be working.
It's funny because
Guy had one good line. He's like the unknown comic.
He called Ralph a heatless fag.
But hey, Art, that's an unfair card to play though, because you're right. I mean, Gary's right. You make your living being funny.
When you ask me if I think I'm funny,
when you guys come into this show and try to be funny, then you're coming into my territory. So I'm going to judge your funniness on this show.
Because
I know you're funny watching a Philly game with your friends.
This show's not always about being funny.
We're not in your territory. The purpose of this show is not to be funny round the clock.
Well, you're doing a bang-up job.
We discuss the wrap-up show, and once in a while we'll crack a joke because it just happens to be there. Whether you think that joke is funny or not, you're totally entitled to. But we're not coming.
I didn't get the memo. I didn't get the wrap-up show.
You make it sound like we're coming in here trying to be you, and we're not.
No, I don't think you're trying to be me.
Wait, can I say one thing that might frame the debate a little bit?
Is it about that cunt reporter?
Benji, if you say it again, I'm going to punch you in the fucking head.
Seriously.
Wait,
stop.
No, stop.
I'm going to punch you in the fucking head. All right, stop.
Wait, why is that the worst thing that's been said?
The thing that I want to say is...
Are you retarded?
No,
Then just fucking listen.
I don't understand why that would get you so mad.
Well, because you're trying to be funny and you're not being funny.
Is that the part that's getting you mad?
Yes, the wrap-up show is not about being funny.
I mean,
unless
the
you're Artie.
thing I was going to say is...
Will, try saying it. See what happens.
If funny presents itself, did you hear Gary? Then you try to be funny.
Well, I guess what I wanted to point out is, like, if you're going to lie, obviously as a comedian, your premise is it can go anywhere from exaggeration to all-out lies for entertainment purpose. So if you're on the radio, I think it's akin to that on some level. So I guess the definition of a lie in terms of it affecting your friendship has to be defined as something that's hurtful to you or the show.
In your person. See, in other words, if you agree with what he just said, and I do, then assuming being offended by anything I say on the air has to go out the window, because something on the air could be anything. Did I ever come to you in your office and say, Gary, listen, I'm not on heroin, man. I promise you. Did I ever say that to you, person? No. And then, because that I'd be a little more insulted by. When I'm on the radio, like Greg said, I'm trying to be entertaining. So for you to take anything I say on the air as gospel and to be offended by it is a little retarded.
So hold on. When you talk to us off the air during commercial breaks about your experiences at the Shrink, should I know the difference? And you did. Howard said, you go to the Shrink? Oh, you mentioned whatever.
No, because I did go to the Shrink a couple of times, and I talked about my experience.
Even that number, did you go 1.5 times?
I didn't make up stuff that didn't happen at the Shrink. I went about 2 times, and I told Howard what my opinion was of it.
So you asked your Shrink if it was okay for you to drink, or you told your Shrink you were going to drink?
Yeah, that's the last time I went. I told him I had tequila, and then I...
So in your second visit, you told him...
Yeah. It came up pretty quick.
No, and I didn't say that to defend Artie. I'm saying
Thank you, Greg.
I'm saying it to point out that there may be things that you've said to Gary off the air, and it seems to me that in terms of anybody that you have a relationship with off the show, they can be angry about a lie that affected them in some way,
right.
But I don't know. I'm unclear on how that affects what he says on the air, because certainly Howard may not have a small penis, and Dean Martin didn't really have a drink in his hand all those years. There's certain things.
Greg, I swear to God, I don't even know what you're talking about.
No,
I got lost.
Why do I know what he's talking about?
I don't know. I'm stupid.
You have a problem with Artie lying, right? And it affects your friendship, correct?
Yeah, okay.
No, I don't think so what I'm saying, wait, hold on, Will. I'm just trying to clarify this so we understand this. What I'm saying is a lie versus comedic license is something, and I'm not defending Artie, because if he did lie to you off the air, then that is wrong, and that's something that he has to address.
Artie not going to the Shrink was no comedic license. It was just him lying.
No, we didn't laugh about that on the air? That didn't create an hour of
no,
material?
Did it create material? Yes. Did we laugh about it? No.
Yes, we did. Howard laughed about it. What he's saying is, if you're going to admit that sometimes while I'm on the air in that forum, I'm trying to be funny, you can't take anything I say as gospel. And to be offended by it is stupid. If I come to you off the air and say something to you that's a direct lie that really betrays you, then that's a different story. And that's never happened, and I've never done that to a friend, and I will never do that ever in my life.
Artie, what about when you called me and gave me a 20-minute speech about how you couldn't come to my wedding because you couldn't be around drugs and alcohol?
That's the truth.
No, because your Shrink told you couldn't do it.
Listen,
and then you went in there and said you didn't want to come because you didn't want to go because whatever.
Because I was trying to be funny, and I said I don't want to go.
Artie, that's the truth, and I don't care. You're not offending me. That's the truth, though.
Well, I didn't want to go because I didn't want to drink at dinner. Same reason I didn't go to Fred's party. I don't go to things where if I think I'm going to fall off the wagon.
But I think at that point you were still doing heroin.
Well, I wasn't. I was not. I was on the heroin wagon at that point. And how would you know anyway, man?
Because
it's all speculation.
Because
again,
shut up about it. On the wrap-up show...
Don't talk about shit you don't know, because you're going to get in a bad area.
But on the wrap-up show, and again, I asked you 2 weeks ago, Artie, how long were you on heroin? You said off and on from the end of August till December.
Off and on.
Well, Will's wedding was in September.
What does off and on mean?
But how do we... I don't know, man. But it could have...
I said off and on. I didn't say constantly from August to December.
So the second you got off of heroin just happened to be the week that Will was getting married when you didn't want to drink.
It could have been. I got off heroin to go to Afghanistan. I should have been doing it during your jokes. Maybe I would have laughed.
Archie, after you fuck you in the ass.
Well, not me. Maybe another man.
I want to get back to something you said earlier.
David, right?
Something you said earlier, Artie, about ultimately Gary should be mad at Howard, not at you, because Howard is the one who lets you...
Howard runs the show. We all know that here. Okay, if Howard was mad at me, there'd be consequences for what I'm doing. He's not. So, Gary should go to Howard and say, listen, Artie's been disrespecting the show, and I don't like that. And Howard then has to react to that.
You're right, and Howard doesn't react to it.
Okay, so what am I...
So does that give you a license to basically do whatever you want to do?
Yeah, until Howard tells me not to.
The Greg Fitzsimmons school of, he's talented enough to do what he wants.
That's not what I said.
It's sort of exactly what you said, Greg.
No, what I said was, what Artie said is true. Look, there's a guy who makes personnel decisions here. There's no democracy. There's no real... There may be some input, but it's his decision. Do I think it's a good idea that Artie's in bad shape and he's still on the air? That's not for me to decide. I think that it's an issue that,
But when you were here... You said, listen, you take what you get. Artie's a talent.
And why are you insulted by that guy?
No, you are a talent.
Okay, and you're not.
He said because you're a talent that you are held to a different standard.
And I am.
Which you are. But then he went on to say
I get paid more than other people here, too. Why do I get paid more than people?
You should be able to do whatever you want. You should be able to do whatever you want.
I'm pissed off that they don't make the same amount of money.
You're missing the point. I didn't finish the thought.
No, but you're adding your own thought.
I'm not adding it. You said it.
No, I did not say Artie should be able to do whatever he wants. You added that.
No, you did.
I ended at Artie has problems. He doesn't always come in on time. Howard doesn't have a problem with that. So apparently those are the standards for Artie. Not set by you.
I've been late 10 times in 8 years.
I didn't say it was good. I didn't encourage it. I didn't say...
But it's not true, because your exact example was that you worked on a show and that you came in late because you wrote jokes that got on. And you know what? It wasn't right, but fuck them.
Well, guess what? If I'm doing a monologue every day, I'm keeping the guy who writes the funny jokes, not the guy who's here on time who sucks.
Gary, you're assigning a cause effect to that wasn't there. I didn't say, fuck you, I'm coming in late and leaving early. I came in late because I was really unhappy. And when I was there, I worked really hard and I got a lot of shit
I think the exact word was like tough shit, I think.
No, that was not the exact words. I defy you to show me that on the tape.
See, you're offended by him acting like a producer. You're offended by what he just said because you have animosity probably towards funny people because you want to be one. But clearly that's what's going on. You're offended by him.
There were a shitload of funny people before you got here and they didn't offend me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah? Sam Kinnis never offended you.
No, he did not. No, he did not, because he didn't work for me.
Right.
He did not. He never offended me by his behavior.
Okay.
But that's a
Jackie never annoyed you?
No, because Jackie took the show seriously.
Oh, okay. Jackie, who fucking walked out on a contract. Pick your fucking battles, man. No, it's not a different story. That's not disrespecting the show.
No, but I was offended by that.
Okay, what you just said was wrong. You said someone else did offend you in history of the show.
Yeah, he didn't do it on a daily basis.
Yeah, neither am I, Gar. I've offended you on a daily basis.
No, that's wrong.
For 8
you're
years?
wrong. You're wrong. It's not a daily basis. You're right.
Okay.
You're right.
I'm right about everything,
it's more. Whatever.
Gar, listen, let me tell you something. If you're fucking Ellen DeGeneres or Jay Leno, and there's a guy that writes jokes that get laughs every fucking time, but he's always an hour late. Sometimes he falls asleep, blah, blah, blah. But there's another guy who's on time every day, who looks neat and never has a problem or a drink in his life, and everything sucks. Who are you keeping at hiring time?
Yeah, I don't know, because I've never been in that situation until now.
If you don't know the answer to that, Gar, then you're a dumbass, stupid motherfucker.
Thank you.
You keep the guy who writes sucky jokes?
Don't name call, because this is...
No, let him name call. This is how he feels.
There's a disconnect because you have been in that position. The man standing next to you is late a lot, and he works for you, and you haven't fired him. Why?
We threatened to fire him. But
you haven't fired him.
It was very close.
But why did you keep him?
we gave him one more chance.
But why? You wouldn't give that same chance to somebody else.
That's any job. That would be the fucking cashier.
That's not true.
Point. That's not true.
That's my point.
No, which one am I listening to now?
because Benji writes funny stuff. That's why he's there.
Of course, because we like the work that he does.
Okay.
But he was getting to a point where his work was good, but not good enough to put up with what was going on, and it was close.
So let me get this straight.
Benji, just back me up. Was it close? Was that meeting?
No.
You were not afraid of that meeting?
No. Are you being honest? Yes.
Fire him, Gary.
It's not Gary's decision. It would be Howard's decision.
Exactly. That's the other point. It's not Gary's decision.
Robert Smigel, who's like one of the greatest TV writers in history, now does occasionally TV Funhouse on SNL, which is like a 1-minute, 2-minute short film. He used to have to show up at 7 in the morning, stay till 4 in the morning. Now he's got the respect and the luxury. Now, I think the problem is he's not saying fuck you to Lorne Michaels. He's saying this is what I want to contribute. If you want it, that's fine. And
is he a full-time writer there, or did they just expect him?
He was.
But is he now?
No, he gets to do what he wants because he's that good. And I'm not saying that Artie gets to do what he wants. What I'm saying is that is the criteria for Howard keeping him. In the same way that the criteria for you keeping Benji are that he's providing something that you guys need. No, and whether or not he does it late or early, it doesn't matter.
And honestly, listen, I don't get to do whatever I want because I'm not late all the time. I'm not absent all the time. We're focusing on stuff that's the minority of the time.
Yeah, but you're contradicting yourself, Artie. You do get to do what you want. You just said it. If Howard told you to stop doing this, you would stop. So you do get to do what you want.
No. You think if I came in late every single day of the fucking week, or if I was really out 2 days a week, Howard wouldn't eventually get rid of me? I mean, I don't get to do what I want. I don't want to be here every day at 6, but I get my ass here 98% of the time every day at 6. That's disrespecting the show. And when I get here, I'm always ready, and I'm funny, and I'm honest, and I tell stories that are embarrassing, but I think they're funny. I do what I got to do. I do my job. You know, I used to go to the Tuesday meeting all the time. I don't do it anymore. Howard doesn't give a fuck because it doesn't affect what I do on the air. I mean, you know, that's just how it is, man. I'm sorry if you feel like, I'm getting special privileges.
Nobody is knocking your ability on the air.
Exactly.
I don't think that's what's the question here. Well, I think, Howard shows up for the beginning of the show and he leaves at the end of the show. He's the guy we all follow. Everybody else here does that. You, on occasion, haven't done that. And when Benji walks in 3 minutes late...
And Benji's not late all the time.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
And again, me and Benji are here over 90% of the time, on time, and we don't take days off 90% of the time.
And we don't do heroin.
That's just how it is. You're making it sound, when you have these conversations, you're making it sound like I'm out half the fucking year. That's not the case, man.
I didn't say you were out half the year.
Yeah, but that's what it sounds like to someone who's listening. It sounds like, okay, we don't care if Artie's out all the time or if he's late all the time. That's what you say. Well, sometimes you don't hear what you say.
Well, because I'm a fucking dumbass.
Well, the other thing that you're up against...
No, you're not a dumbass.
I'm a big old fucking dumbass.
You didn't answer that question honestly. You didn't. You would fire the guy who writes the shit jokes. You know you would. You didn't want to answer it because you don't want to agree with me on it. You would keep the fuck up who writes good shit because you got to go out there and say it. That's what makes the world go around. Babe Ruth fucked whores all night. He hit 3 home runs when he was hungover. That's why they didn't fire him on the Yankees. Pat Kelly did that a couple of times.
All right, look, you're not Babe Ruth, so fucking shut up.
I know, but I'm using an analogy whatever. To hear, for some reason, Howard thinks I'm good enough not to fire based on what I'm doing.
But I think what we're coming from is, Gary, there's two levels that you are not happy with Artie's lying, Artie's work ethic, or whatever. One is personal, as a friend, and part of that is concern that as much as you guys are angry, I know you love Artie and you care about him, and that you're concerned about...
The funny thing is, I'm not even sure that Artie knows that anymore.
No, he doesn't. Artie is not in a great place.
By the way, this is the first time you've ever said to me, and again, it's on the air, that you would truly think I've been disrespecting the show for the last 8 months. You never pulled me aside and said that. You said it now. I mean, you never pulled me aside and said that, Gar.
I don't know that it's my place. It's a feeling I have.
You're the producer of the show. Why would it be your place?
But you're right. At the end of the day, it's Howard's decision. So if I feel that way and he doesn't, then it's not my place to say it.
The point is just completely moot here, then, because...
It is.
If you pull me aside and said, all right, listen, I think you're disrespecting the show, that's what a friend does. You're saying it on the air now.
Would you change? Or would you say... Hey, Howard doesn't give a shit.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. I would try to get it together. I really would, out of respect for you. But if push came to shove and I woke up hungover one day or whatever, because it's not Howard saying it, I might go to the phone and say I'm not in, But look, I'm enough of a fuck up to where I have lost jobs. I've made those decisions before. I'm very self-destructive. It's horrible. You know, I wish I wasn't like that, but I am.
I think you guys are so different in your lives that, Gary, you take it personally that he's not doing this to be hostile. He's fucking miserable. I mean, I've known Artie a long time. I could say, we talked about it backstage. I said it on the air. I'm going through a bad time. I'm not happy. I look at Artie. He does not. You haven't seen happy to me in a long time.
I haven't been happy in 20 years.
So he's not getting off on coming in late and being a fuck up. And I think the part of you that's concerned about Artie, and we all are, is reacting to it. Quite honestly, almost like on intervention, when you see a family member, somebody who cares about someone with a disease, and they can't control it. But there's that guy. But then there's you as the boss on the job.
But at the end of the day, here's the thing that's really funny. I am not Artie's boss in any way, shape, or form. And Artie's called me that for years because at the end of the day, I can't fire Artie. I can't tell Artie what to do. I can't tell him where to be. It all comes from Howard. So I'm really not Artie's boss. I'm just a guy who produces the show who can direct Artie. Hey, Artie, we're all going out to Vegas. Be there by this day.
And look,
I don't tell him what to do ever.
Here's the other thing.
Have I ever come to you and told you what to do?
Never, Gary. No,
because I don't have that power.
But in the beginning, you were the guy. The first guy, and I yearn for these times again because stuff has gotten so crazy in my life, professional and personal. But, you know, the first couple of years I was on this show, when I first started doing the show, you were the guy who I talked to. You were the guy who called me and told me when I was going to be on. You were the guy I grew up listening to. I do have respect for you as a producer of the show. As years went by, you know, you get familiar with something, and
it breeds contempt.
Well, you know, yeah, it breeds contempt, but I think contempt's the bad word here. I just think it breeds, for me, complacency, and, you know, I see how it operates. Now, instead, I'm not just the fan or the comic who sits in every once in a while. I see how the place really operates, and I see, yeah, it really is all Howard's call. And, I mean, look, there's been times in the past, Howard sat me down and said, he did research. He found the shrink. He went out of his way to find the shrink for me, and that was 5 years ago. I still haven't called the shrink. So in a way, I'm not doing what Howard tells me to do either. Because Greg's
he didn't tell you what to do. He suggested. That's a big difference.
Okay, but still, when a guy like Howard, who you respect, suggests that, you might at least give the guy a call. I've never done that, and that's a little. He said he's been disrespected by that, but Greg brings up a point, and you know, Will said this on the air too. He was mad at me, but you know what? He's 100% right. The bottom line is, I'm a miserable fuck. I'm miserable. I don't like being this miserable. I hate it. I'm not a happy guy. And there's people in my life that catch those effects from me not being happy personally. You know, women I've been involved with, especially, you know, recently, and in my work life. I'm miserable. I don't like that that's true, but it's true.
What would make you happy, Artie?
I don't know, man. I have no idea. I don't know. If I knew, I'd do it.
I mean, you're a huge success comedically. I assume you're doing very well financially.
In one area of my life, I'm successful. I've lived out a lot of dreams in show business, and I have a lot of money. I do. Good money for me. But that's one piece of life's puzzle. All of the rest are a complete mess. It's a mess. It's just a... it's just a mess, man. What can I tell you? Health, drug addiction, depression, loneliness, everything, you know, maybe overstress, overwork. It's just how it is, you know?
Greg, the other thing at the core of this with Gary that I think you're missing is that Gary really, really cares about Artie on a personal level.
I just said he loves him. Through all this anger, it's because he loves him.
And you know what? If you didn't like somebody as much as I like Artie, you couldn't piss me off the way you can.
Exactly.
Well, why? You know, and I feel the same way about you, pissing me off. Like, if someone said, like, the point I was trying to make before, if Ralph had said that on the air, I mean, that's Ralph being Ralph, I don't care. But yesterday, that fucking ate away at my stomach when I heard that. Fat joke, man?
No, I mean, look, I've been sober for 20 years, minus a year and a half.
Bullshit,
that's 40. When I turned 40. And I look at Artie, and I can relate to, that he's running away and he's hiding, whether it's drugs or whether it's food or whatever, and there's nothing left. You're worn out. And,
that's for sure. I'm burnt out.
You're burnt out, and you're showing up to a show every day, and you're working most weekends. And to truly recover and get sober, you need time to go do that. And until you do, it's going to be, you're not going to feel anything good.
Listen, man, you know how fucked up it became? It has all become so fucked up. When I was 24 years old, driving a cab and parking it outside the comic strip to run in and ask a guy to watch it to do a 20-minute set, do you know how much I would have killed to do a roast on Comedy Central? You know what I mean?
Right.
And last year I blew it off. I blew off a roast. I was on a phone with a guy telling me he'd send me a private jet to go roast a guy who's a friend of mine. What happened, man? What happened to the guy who was 24 who wanted that so bad? I don't know what happened. It's so depressing to me.
Well, I know what happened.
When I think about that, I get insanely depressed.
I think you got it. You got what you wanted. Are you beyond where you thought you'd be when you were the 24-year-old kid?
Everybody. I think Greg will attest to this. I mean, everybody. I think I wanted to be Jim Carrey by now. Okay, but of course. But look. If it ended tomorrow, I could put a spin on my career where, you know what, I made some noise and I'm very proud of it. I wouldn't be disappointed, but of course I thought I'd be like everybody else. I thought I'd be Adam Sandler or Jack Black or Jim Carrey or something. You know, I thought I'd be a movie star.
Hey, Art, beyond yesterday, what Gary said, what Will said, has something else been going on the last couple of days? Because you do seem like, has it been like some sort of hell?
There is something that happened in my personal life, yeah, that was a really bad, shitty thing to hear. It's
you want to exploit it?
Right, of course, exactly. Do I want? You know what? No, part of me does want to say it out loud, but it's something it's really, even for me, a no-no.
Can I just ask? There's one question: personal or professional?
Personal.
Okay.
Personal. So because it would affect a couple other people. But really, and everything, no, but here's what I should have realized years ago is, every story I tell affects other people in my life. So that hasn't been great that I've been so forthright. But what are you going to do? The past is the past.
Well, I feel like again, talking about addiction, you're stuck because once you become addicted to something, your self-esteem goes away, and your ability to step back and say there's someone beneath the money and the gigs and the success that underneath there, this sounds corny, but underneath there, you used to know that there was somebody that was worth fighting for. And right now, you feel empty, and so the only thing that's keeping you going is this stuff that's actually working against you.
It's funny. You talk about, what we used to be and stuff. I bring this up to Greg all the time. The first time I ever met Greg, I was probably like 27 or 28. And we both did a weekend at the old Catch a Rising Star, the one that was on West 28th Street off 8th Avenue.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget this because my family was there. And the lineup was Greg, myself, Jim Gaffigan, and
Ray Romano.
And Ray Romano, right. So I had done a year on Mad TV, and Ray Romano was saying to me, what's it like being on a TV show? Do you like it? I said, well, no, I hate L.A. because he had just shot his pilot. The pilot got picked up. And I said, do you like it? He goes, I remember him saying this. We all made about $500 that weekend, right? Yeah. And Romano needed the $500 bucks, and by this time he was already 40 and had been on the, stand-up circuit for a while. And I remember I was like 28 and I said to him, do you still like this after all these years? Like, are you psyched? He goes, well, I'm psyched that I'm getting something that might get me off the road. And I said, what do you think of this show? And he goes, I hate the name. He goes, the name I want to throw up over, but they love it. And I said, who else is on the show? And he said, Peter Boyle. And I can remember the one, because I had such a bad experience in L.A., I was trying to say something to cheer him up. And I said, Peter Boyle, man, I love Peter Boyle. He goes, yeah, he's funny. He goes, but I think I suck on it. And he thought he sucked on it. He thought the show sucked. He thought everything sucked.
Isn't that the nature of most comedians?
Yes, that's the point I'm trying to make. Like, now he's a billionaire, and I think if you, and I think if you talk to him now, he still thinks a lot of things suck. But at least, he's got kids, he's got a wife, he can look at. I don't know. It's in our nature, maybe. I remember Greg felt the same way. Jim Gaffigan thought everything sucked. We were back there miserable. We were talking about Dave Attell today. Dave Attell's a miserable
guy,
person.
but a great guy. I would tell the story. When Jackie worked on the show, I could tell you every excuse for the day of the year why Jackie would tell me why that weekend show was going to suck. Okay?
Yeah, right.
Memorial Day. Everybody's going to picnics. Nobody's going out. I'm fighting Thanksgiving traffic. Kids are back at school.
March Madness.
Every weekend. I'm in Syracuse and there's a big game. And Jackie would come back every weekend. It'd be sold out. But he would tell me in advance every weekend why nobody was coming to the show.
Yeah.
Well, because your self-esteem is over-invested in what you do for a living. And it's like, literally, the definition of a persona is a mask. It's a person you present to the public, because inside you fucking hate that guy. And comedians become that as they get successful, they start internalizing this. When we talked about you lying on the show, well, are you projecting a character that's funny, or is this really you? And then when as a friend, Gary, you're seeing this projection, and then you're feeling somehow betrayed by him not really being that guy. But which is legitimate. I mean, if you care about somebody and they're telling you things that are ultimately, beneath your anger is your fear that Artie is something really bad will happen to him.
Of course.
More than the show.
Yeah, but, and another thing, think about how fucked up you'd be psychologically, because this is most comedians. Most comedians like to pretend they hate everybody. They don't like anything. But inside, you crave people's fucking acceptance more than anything. But why else would you get up there and do what you do? But on the outside, you're portraying and putting off like, I hate this, But you could look at a guy in an audience and say, I hate that motherfucker. But you want him to laugh at you so much, and that creates such a conflict in your head. You don't know what the fuck you like anymore. And that and the stress of traveling and everything, I mean, you become a miserable bastard. And I always said I remember talking to Romano and saying, God, I hope I'm not that negative when I'm 40. Well, now I'm 41, and I've had some success, and I would beat him in any negativity contest.
Ralph Sorella, you're on the wrap-up show.
Hey, now?
Hi, Ralph.
A lot of love in the room. Yeah. I just want to add to that. I lost my train of thought because now I'm just dying to hear what the thing Artie did a couple days ago that...
It's not something I did, Ralph. It was something it's news I got about something.
And
he's not going to deal with it.
He doesn't want to talk about it.
It sounded like he almost was going to talk about it. No?
I was.
Come on, Artie.
Honestly, no, I was never even close to talking about it.
I won't.
You know what, Ralph? I'll call you tonight, and you can tell Howard.
I think you guys are
every time Howard has a new shirt on, I think he knows something else about me because he saw Ralph today.
Tuesday morning's usually a good time to I tip them off to something. No, and getting back to that thing, I explained that on the air with you and Gary in Iraq that I was goofing around with Howard, and he went and said something on the air, and that was not true. You know what I mean?
But you got in his head, Ralph. You did, and it affected our friendship. And
I explained that on the wrap-up show to Gary, and I thought he sort of understood what I was saying, and you accepted that, Gary. I thought you understood that.
I may have understood it, but I can't get it out of my head, and I'm not even sure that I blame you for that.
I'm sorry about that, and but Artie, is it really so hard for you to fathom why people don't take you at your word when, why do people have to sit and sort out with what's true and what's not with you? What might be drug related, what might not, what you might be saying to protect somebody, it's not, and my point was when you were telling that story on the air, and I think what everybody said and made the point, and Will made this point too, and he's right, maybe Artie's just making up a story for the air because it sounds good.
All right. Well,
who cares?
If that's really how you feel, then how could you judge my life on any level by stuff I say on the air? If it's all just bullshit and all just for comedy, then you really would have to put that aside, which is hard to do. Put that aside as if it's a scripted sitcom or something, and then just base how you feel about me by everything I say to you off the air. That would be fantastic. But that doesn't happen on this show. It doesn't.
Right. You don't say that. You don't think there's a lot of gray area and confusion with what's real and what's not, just in general on the show?
Yes, there is, which is why, how could you, again, I think there's a lot of gray with what goes on the show, so how could you make an opinion, how could you make a personal opinion based on anything?
I think the consensus is people aren't sure based on a lot of other things, like when you're speaking the truth and when you're not. And like even Greg says, there's, you're taking artistic license with a story maybe. Your job is to tell stories and to be interesting and funny on the air. And,
right.
If you didn't have that cup of pee in your closet, if you did or whatever, I just said it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, it's a funny story.
Right.
Well, I think that, this is the longest running reality show in history.
Well,
and the cameras are never off.
That's the point.
No, but I watched American Idol last night, which I haven't seen in years, and these chicks are fighting and screaming and crying, and I thought, people don't act like that. This show raises the stakes. I think you've talked about it. There's times where you might be experiencing something, you might actually push the envelope just to see if it becomes a story on the radio. I mean, It spills over both directions.
And Howard, and I'm not judging him on any level for this because he's a showman before anything, but, I mean, Howard encourages that behavior from all of us. I mean, so, you know, when John used to come in and rat on people, Howard loved it. You know, he's not going to get mad at John the way the guy was who he ratted on is. So, look, I mean, it's a great sort of, I think it's like a great human experiment here. And
yeah, I mean, Howard completely encourages all that. I mean, Sal running into the mall and making an announcement.
The best example of that was after you guys had this fight this morning, you saw that smile on Howard's face.
Of course, and he loved it. And he said he loved it. But on any other listen, Howard, the brilliance of what Howard did here is he's created a show where even rejected bits that he hates could become funny within the context of the show. Like if Sal pitched something comparable to the Nick Gersh thing at a meeting at The Tonight Show or at Saturday Night Live or wherever, they go, no, we're not doing this. And it would never see the light of day. Howard's created a situation where it can see the light of day by Howard goofing on it and all of us goofing on it. So Sal then goes in his head, look, I should do something like that again because it was just an hour of funny shit. And you know that's how he thinks. And you know when he has to make that judgment again, he's going to go for it because Howard, it's rare that Howard rejects something. Because Howard's going, look, this is all interesting. It might be interesting for the audience to hear why I rejected this. So I'll play it and get their opinion. And that's a rare thing. That doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah, and you know, you're completely right about, there's a lot of misdirected anger that goes on around that show. And if you're, Gary, if you're mad at Artie for disrespecting the show, you know, that's on Howard, not on Artie.
That's my point.
Howard lets him do whatever, you know, Artie's going to do what Artie's going to do. Well, Artie can attack people and get away with it.
And we all, thank you. Yeah. And we're all hypocrites on this level where if and I put myself in this category, if we're mad at somebody for something that Howard clearly does himself, we won't yell at Howard about it. We'll yell at the other person about it because that's it. I mean, you know, that's just how it is. That was the point I was trying to make with me spilling the iced tea that, you know, there's times where you've been mad that you're picking up Howard's toothpicks and shit. You could have easily said that to him, but you're not, you know, because, you know, we all do the same thing. And that misdirected anger, I think, creates a lot of frustration. And then when there's someone you feel it's all right to yell at that isn't Howard, you just go crazy, you know, because we get nuts. I don't know.
I mean, it's almost like the banking crisis now where these CEOs are still taking $100 million bonuses. Meanwhile, they drove the company to the ground. And it's a little, not that you're driving this company to the ground. I mean, it's actually good entertainment.
Somebody is.
Let me set my stock price.
It ain't me.
By Gary's definition, and by anybody's definition, certainly there's not many jobs where you can admit to having drug use and whatever and keep your job.
Let me give you an example of what I just said, that we're all hypocrites, and this was me yesterday. Yesterday, and I might get shit from Howard about this, but I'm just going to say it because it's a great example of what I was just saying, and I'm at fault with it. When he was saying, who do we have in, and he said, oh, David Brenner.
Yes.
And Brenner's going, for years David Brenner lied about his age, and we're all going, we all knew you were lying about your age. Gary's caps. Gary said, who told you I wear caps? Gary, everyone knows you wear caps. I felt like saying before Brenner came in, like, look, who didn't know Howard got a nose job? I mean, that's the most obvious nose job in the history. Jerry, look at his schnoz on some of those fucking Channel 9 shows. There's a hook in the fucking...
John Hein masturbates.
You know,
I mean, listen, as a fan, okay? As a fan, when I came in here and met Howard, I'm like, my God, that's a nose job. I mean,
wonderful nose job.
I can remember being at Dag Hammarskjöld Plaza. I was 2 feet from the guy. His nose was extraordinary. You could have caught fish with the fucking thing. And you know, and look, he's a guy who, like all of us, has some vanity. He got some money, and it's a great nose job. His nose, he looks like a shiksa, for Christ's sake. But I felt like saying that, and I think that would have been funny to say, but I didn't have the balls to say it. I thought he'd get mad at me. And I didn't say it there, but I said it here, and we'll play it Monday.
And, Garrett, based on what Artie just said, when you guys think Artie lies about the drugs, and then you extrapolate it to Artie lies about everything, when Howard kept that
No,
that's not what we said, or Gary
this
said.
This is what happens, Benji. That's not what anybody said.
Yeah.
Nobody said Artie lies about everything. They said we're not sure what to believe, which is a huge difference.
You said You said yesterday Artie has no credibility.
No, but what happened
said he has
was
low
what happened
credibility.
was this is a situation where Gary might have not realized. We just replayed it, and Gary said that exact thing.
I did, and it's not what I meant. What I meant was I didn't mean that Artie lies about everything.
And that's what I meant.
But what I do mean is that everything that Artie says could be questioned.
Right.
Right, but
Which is
what I
different
just
than
said,
the
when
lying
Artie's
about
brought
it.
up about the nose thing, Howard lied about that for years. Does that make you question everything he said?
I know. You know what? That's an excellent point. Howard told us all. I've never had plastic surgery.
Let's go back to your example.
And Robin was the best, because when the revelations came out, she was like, your revelation is not that you had a fucking nose. Because she knew. Of course she knew.
It's not just one lie. If Howard lied about the nose job, and that was the end of it, that's one thing. If you then ask
think he lied
Howard,
about anything else?
Howard, did you get your face pulled back? And he said no repeatedly for 3 months, and then he comes out, you know what, I did get my face pulled back.
He said no repeatedly for 7 years.
About what?
His plastic surgery.
What nose job? That's what we're talking about.
But every time he came up, anything in that area.
Yeah,
I will never get married.
For 7 years.
I will never get
Well, that wasn't a lie. That wasn't a lie.
That's right, but for 7 years he told a direct lie. Why? Because it would have affected him in a negative way. You know how many phone callers in the 4 years I was at the regular radio called and said, you've had plastic surgery? And he went, no. That's a lie. That's a lie that's helping yourself.
Artie, when he got that, my mom saw on my TV, my mom calls me, goes, Howard got a nose job. That like a week later, I go, no, I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm glad he did. He looks good. Howard has a look now that he developed. But quite frankly, of course, I need work. I need a few chins taken off.
Well, now, if there's a consensus then that there is artistic license on this show, and that everybody
Howard lying about his nose job is not artistic license.
But I mean, look, Lucy.
That's a lie.
Lucy pretends to have a mustache so she can be in the show. It's comedy. People lie. It becomes funny.
Lucy didn't have a real mustache.
No. See, the thing is, she wanted. No, the point is that Gary, you have to look at this. Look at your anger then and say, okay, what are the options for this anger then? It's not that Artie is fucking up the show in your eyes. It's not that he's not working as hard as you, which leaves the options of you care about him a lot and you're so worried that you're actually getting angry because you can't control it, or you feel like it's bad for the radio show.
No, it's not bad for the radio.
So then it's what you care about.
That's where you're conflicted about it. You're like, do I let this guy who I really think is falling apart keep doing this because it's good for the show, or do I personally go and say, look, you got to go to rehab, which may not be as entertaining, but personally helps him. So that's got to be something you battle in your head all the time.
I'll tell you right up front, and Howard will back me up on this. A year ago, if I were the one making the decision, I would have made you go to rehab. Right. And Howard has even said, when Howard says that I've had those conversations with him, they're not like, fuck Artie. They're like, I'm worried about Artie.
Gary, I never thought they were like, fuck Artie.
No, but
I know that, man.
But
I know.
I've had probably a half a dozen times in the last year, I go, dude, I am really worried about Artie. I think he's in a bad fucking place, and maybe we should do something. Howard's like, do what? He comes to work when he's supposed to come to work. Why is it my place to tell him what to do?
And you've never been angry at Artie that he's missed work. I mean, you've been concerned about it, and we speculated on the show, but there's no anger like, oh, he's at work, we're at work, and he's not. No,
I know what you're saying, but I know, but what he said before, he said that you feel I disrespected the show. That to me indicates a little hostility. And look, you should have it. I'm not saying you're wrong for that.
Ralph, hold on. Mark in North Carolina, you're on the wrap-up show. Mark, are you there?
Yes. Good morning, guys.
Hey, how you doing?
Good morning.
Hey, first off, everyone loves Artie. I love you, Artie. Big thing for me, two things I noticed from a fan's perspective. Number one, when Artie gets really mad with anybody, with Teddy, and today with Gary, he brought up the money situation. And when Artie really gets that boiling point before he throws something, it tends to be about money. And I think, obviously, when Artie first got on board, he didn't think he should make as much as Gary. But after all these years and all his success, there still seems to be something he pokes fun at with Gary. I don't think it's a situation where he's going after Achilles' heel, like with the whole Afghanistan trip. I think there's some truth to that. And secondly, for Gary, my only thing with Artie missing time, I believe it's with Howard as well. It's on Howard, but why don't we have someone to fill in whenever he's out? And I'll listen to that. Thank you.
All right, thanks for your call, then.
Well, I'll answer the back end of it. I think that when Artie's out, I don't think Howard feels a need to fill the spot. I think it's just like when Artie's here, he's here, and when he's not, he's not. And it's also not like I have a guy who lives around the corner that I'll call when Artie says he's not coming in.
The show was #1 and the greatest show ever when I grew up, and no one talked but Howard and Robin 90% of the time. The show would be fine, but it's not my decision. You could have any, people could sit in there. And does that worry me? Yeah, it might worry me a little bit, but I don't think. You see, you got to realize if Howard's having some stranger in there, and I get what he's talking about, he's got to. He's going to feel the necessity to interview that person, to pay attention to them, to learn about them, and he doesn't want to do that. That takes away from the show. It's annoying, I would assume.
And Artie, do you always go to the money before throwing something? Was that caller right in speculating on that?
The one time that I've thrown something, or the 2 times. Did I go to money right before I threw something at Sal? No. Well, he's 50-50.
But that was a weird shot you took at me this morning.
Yeah. Well, look,
because then I don't. Here's the funny thing, Artie. I swear on the life of my children, I don't know how much money you make. I don't know.
But I know how much you make because of a mistake here.
But I don't know that you know that. I know you think you know
Let's write down how much we make.
Yeah.
It's a mistake how much Gary makes?
I make $50,000 less than you a year. So now you know.
But I don't know that. I know that you just said that.
I did the math because I know what you made.
And this isn't drug related, so you can believe it.
I make $50,000 less a year.
I genuinely don't know the answer.
Although I was on drugs looking at your check. All right, I got to get out of here. I got to go see the book.
Well, the money thing always comes up. Like, I've been to therapy.
But it's not an issue for me, but apparently
I'm saying
if
for
I
Artie,
make more than Artie, then it shouldn't be.
If his identity is, like I said, so much in your career, that money represents everything you've given up. Happiness, personal life, relationships. So when it gets fucked with, it's a lightning rod.
Listen, I've said this before. If I couldn't make the money I make on the road, I might be bitching about money here. But you know what? The fact of the matter is, I choose to do the road a lot and take that schedule because, honestly, out of respect for Howard, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be the guy bitching about money.
Could you make the money on the road that you make if you weren't here?
No, absolutely not.
Or could you have gotten the book deal if you weren't here?
No way.
You could have gotten the book deal.
Look, that's not what I just said. That's not what I just said.
No, but I'm saying that you make money here, but also because you're here.
Listen, I think it's even worse than that. I'd be fucking driving a cab if it wasn't for this show again.
No, you wouldn't be driving a cab.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying that the fact of the matter is I do have to fly to St. Louis one weekend, and I do that because...
But define have to. Do you have to?
Okay, would you do what I do if it meant quadrupling your paycheck? Quadrupling your paycheck.
I would, but if I got to the point where if I got to the point where it was making me miserable, which it clearly does make you miserable.
I'd be miserable.
I might rethink it.
I might as well be miserable. I might as well be miserable in Phoenix.
I'll give you a perfect example. I could.
Howard got a nose job.
Howard's outside the window right now looking at us. You know what it's like? It's like a kid with an ant farm and just watching his ants fighting.
All right. Artie, can I just say one thing?
He wasn't listening to this, was he?
No.
We're going to deal with that Monday.
I can tell you,
fucking fired Monday.
If I wanted to, I could continue to do personal appearances and probably make more than I did when I was at K-Rock.
Yeah, but I would rather quadruple your fucking... I'm talking about,
serious money.
I mean, God, we're talking life-changing money. That's why I feel I have to.
Right, but the flip side of it is what's also changing your life is how much it fucking bothers you.
All right, but what if I know I'd be miserable anyway sitting at home?
Then you should just go and do the gig.
Well, that's the thing. That's the problem. I'm miserable. I can't fucking... Sirius owes me some money here. That's what I'm saying.
All right, Teddy's playing music. We got to take a break.
Call Echo Star.
Are you guys still friends on Facebook?
We'll get to your call.